Hi, Mika Das. Hello, everyone. Welcome to FuWan Mocha in the Morning, episode 3, Shark Attack. I am Mika, your host, and I'm joined by our co-host here.
Hi, I'm SharklettVT. I'm like Mika, but a different color with like different eyes and ears and no goggles and I fly planes that go way slower.
I don't know about way slower, but we're joined here by the fastest F-14 pilot in the sim world, SharklettVT.
I just see the fish background. Put that there for me. I'm not a fish. I'm a shark.
There's sharks in the background.
There's sharks there.
Shark aquarium.
Oh, yeah, there's also fish. There's more fish than sharks. There's like a representation issue.
You have to have more fish in the shark tank, otherwise the sharks get anxiety.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Wait, is that why I'm always anxious?
Yeah, you need more fish
you
around.
don't have fish.
I need to surround myself with fish. Okay, okay.
Yeah, you need to like put like a fish tank like in your like background shot that you have for your room, little virtual room.
Yeah.
Besides the like
idea.
pet kana thing that you have too.
Yeah, no, I should get some fish. I should get some fish.
Probably like a little less fire too in the background. That also might turn the anxiety down a bit.
The fire is fine. Everything is fine. I fixed my PC. There's no more fire.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very good.
All right, so Sharklett, why don't we introduce you to our audience? Because even though 90% of our audience probably knows you, but we'll just do some context anyway in case anybody new to this group sees this show. Well, first off,
what you have to say?
What do you do?
Caution.
What do I do?
Caution.
Yeah, what do you do?
I stream on Twitch.tv.
What do you stream on Twitch.tv?
I stream on Twitch.tv. I do aviation content, tactical content, and general all sorts of other things as well. I kind of do a bit of everything, but I'm mostly focused around like military stuff like that. It's kind of been a part of my life for a while, so I'm happy that I get to stream it now and like share that with like lots of people.
You're bringing the joys of flight sims to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, flight sims are great. I love sharing them with people. I love talking about like how things work and what they do. And flight sims, there's a lot of like complicated things involved and like procedure or just like the theory behind how things work. So I get to talk about that quite a bit, and I also get to blow things up. And blowing things up is really fun.
Blowing things up is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just great. So yeah, that's what I do. That is what I do. I also sleep a lot.
And you wake up just before stream.
Yep. Usually like 20 minutes before my stream, I'm fully awake.
I think all of us here today woke up less than an hour before stream.
Well, to be fair, on a technicality, I did wake up this morning. But I had a migraine, so I had a nap. So
all of us rolled out of bed within an hour of the stream.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
All right. With the initial introductions out of the way, we'll batter you with more questions later. And Joe, I think you are starting off the civilian flight sim world today.
Yeah, we're starting off first this time. All right. Hello. Welcome to the civilian flight sim world, going first for once.
Ew.
First off, we have Black Square, who has provided an additional development update on the Beechcraft Duke and Turbo Duke. What you see pictured is the beautiful Beechcraft Turbo Duke. That is one of my favorite planes that I flew on some of the older flight simulators. Instead of just being a measly piston engine design, making like, 230 horsepower? This has 760. It goes much quicker. It climbs way faster. And as you can see with the cool paint job and really cool shapes, it looks cool too. It's great. It goes fast. You can smuggle drugs in it. Awesome. It has now been announced that it'll be published through, I believe, Just Flight. And there will be two separate products. Either you can buy the Turbo Duke or the piston one if you want to fly like a grandma instead. It's a great airplane. I can't wait to fly it. It's really cool. You have lots of avionics options. I'm going to fly the life out of that thing. It's great.
Now, you said it was a prop plane, but I don't see any props here.
Mika, look at the front.
I don't see any props.
It's because they're spinning really fast.
Yeah, really, really, really fast.
Mr. Creepy, not smells drugs, smuggle drugs in it.
Yeah, it is. Wait, aren't you technically like in the ATF? Isn't it like your job to like?
No, not ATF. I would be dead if I worked for the ATF.
How do I know when you're not dead?
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but you could be dead.
I mean, okay, in that case, you'd be a schizophrenic. Like, I don't know what your point is here.
That would explain a lot of things in my life.
I mean, Mika can also confirm that I'm alive.
How do we know that we're both not schizophrenic?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think
you might
we
not
are.
exist. Like,
you know, I can go like to my kitchen and cook pasta or heat up the Chinese food in my fridge. Like that's.
yeah, but you're
obviously
a talking
I'm real.
dog. How preposterous is that idea?
I don't know, talking shark. How is that not a preposterous idea?
Well, sharks are smart.
Yeah, well, you
So,
guys
yeah,
like
no, we can just
die
talk.
if you stop swimming. So like, and we could just like stop if we want to, and we can go on land.
Yeah, we had to go to an aquarium here to have you, so.
I don't even know how to swim.
Plus, when was the last time you saw a shark retrieve a tennis ball and bring it back? Never seen a shark do that. Therefore, dogs are smarter.
Try me.
Okay.
Okay.
How do I need to like go to where you are and then just
Yeah,
like
you come
throw
over
a
here
tennis
right
ball?
now. You throw a tennis ball. I will go for it, and you will see a shark go for a tennis ball.
All right.
See the tennis ball trick? I can do that. That's simple.
Fair
I can so do
enough.
that.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. You can.
Yeah.
You can do that. Great. Can you sniff out explosives or drugs or anything like that?
Depends on the drugs.
All right, fair enough. Obviously, you can bite people, especially criminals.
Yeah,
So
I
that is
can,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I'll go
You
back
probably
to
are. It's more of a fatal bite, probably, than like a "Hey, stop running away" bite. That's.
I mean, have you seen how police dogs are? They can be kind of vicious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But you're also a shark. You have like the super sharp teeth. Like you can see how pointed they are from your reactive.
Yeah. Also, I can also hold a talking stick. Can a dog do that?
That is, yeah, I can too. I mean, you saw the guard.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
All right, maybe yours is like ocean dog.
I mean, technically, we are the dogs of the oceon.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, like lemon sharks specifically are kind of like
I'm
dogs.
not a lemon shark.
I'm see. What?
Why did you call me a lemon shark?
We talked about this yesterday. It's a specific species of shark, and I'm giving it as an example.
Oh, it's an example. Okay.
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I'm
Like you
not
know,
a
like
lemon shark.
the little gifs where it's like it's like the diver petting the shark.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that one.
that's the species. So it's lemon sharks.
Yeah.
They like live off the coast of Florida. They're pretty cool. And they're friendly.
Territorial, bit like the human, and they
Yeah.
defend the human. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Literally, they defend the human.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
See, sharks are good. Buy a
Sharks
shark
are
for
good.
home defense.
Yeah, get a shark and a dog. You'll have land and sea covered. Or just have like a moat, and then you can have like sharks in the moat, and then like dogs next to it.
Yeah.
That's like a good idea.
That's
like
like taking
maximum
the
fun.
castle doctrine a bit far, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, and even then, like, you know, if you have like dogs like me or Mika, like for the special dogs, like we're the expensive kind, like you can either get a pilot or Wizzo. In my case, you get a weapons systems officer. In Mika's case, you get a whole ass pilot. Like he can
I
just
would've
operate the
forced it to
F-16
fly.
on his own. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
She's had me
Oh,
as a
this
pilot
happened.
before.
Yeah, backseat's fun. I like backseat because I don't
Yeah,
have
you
to
can fly
think.
the backseat.
I can. Yes, I could.
Yeah.
You've made me
You
do it
could.
before. It was not very pleasant.
Why was it not?
It wasn't. It was just weird. It felt
It
wrong.
was weird.
Yes,
It felt wrong.
it felt wrong flying the plane from the back seat. Yes.
You don't get used to it. It's a weird perspective, yeah.
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 That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, you can't look out the front. It's like driving a car from the back seat.
Plus, if I'm flying, I can't hand you snacks when you're in the front seat. That's a problem.
Yeah, but I could hand you snacks.
I mean, I guess, but
that? Yeah.
it's possible. But like the snack reserves are in the back. Like that's just where there's space for.
Yeah, but think of it this way: if you're in the back and I'm in the front, you can open your mouth. I can just throw them backwards. It's like a game. It's like a game.
I mean, you could do you could do the astronaut space station game thing. That is true.
No.
The other problem is like the space for the as Stolzer has informed me, the space where my NVGs normally go and why I never have night vision goggles. It's just filled with tennis balls in like various states of wear. I gotta put them somewhere, right? Like it's how it works. Mika, you understand? Like it's definitely an experience. I just please keep flying when you're in the front seat, so I don't have to think about flying. I like turning off my brain functions in the back seat. It's very nice.
But next time in my backseat, I'm just gonna go for like a 20-minute break and force it to fly.
Joe,
yeah, well, I mean, I just will leave the plane straight and level.
Joe, why don't you just come with me and fly in my backseat?
Oh, that's possible too.
Have a backseat. You're an F-16.
I fly F-15s too.
Okay.
I don't know how to operate any of the weapons. That's why I need a backseater.
Well, there's Joe.
Yeah, there's me.
You.
Although, like, yeah, I guess it would come down to like between, I don't know, like. Your chat seems to enjoy having me in the back seat because I don't know why they like that. They just kind of do.
We have a good dynamic.
Megan's probably like that too. Yeah, it works. We have a formula that works. Like I'm like the one that I'm only insane when I'm dropping bombs, and you're the crazy one whenever we're not dropping bombs. It works perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's good. That is good.
Yeah. Like just no hesitation on those refugee camps and weddings. We just like. Annihilate them. We turn them into fine mist.
No comment.
No
My
comment.
lawyers have advised me not to talk about any events regarding weddings or marriages or bombs falling off of planes.
Talked about this yesterday, and it wasn't an issue.
They were reaching up. They were reaching up weddings.
Our legal team is informing us that we're not allowed to comment on this incident until the legal case is completed.
The Hague's not going to get us for it now. We would have done it already.
I wouldn't tempt them like that.
They're Dutch. What are they going to do? Cycle around us? Okay.
All right, Joe, you've got this next aircraft.
We do. Actually, that was a poor choice of words. And next item. Azerpoly, makers of the C-160 Transall for the Microsoft Flight Simulator, have announced that their OV-10 Bronco that they're coming out with has now entered the beta testing stage. The OV-10 is a plane that flies, and you can look out of for targets that don't exist because it's Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it's cool because you can land them on short runways, and the plane looks nifty, and you can have all kinds of fun with that. And it's got propellers and landing gear, and it kind of looks cool because like if you look at the back, like the elevator is like all one giant piece between the twin booms on the for the tail, and that's pretty cool. I think that's nifty.
You can also
the tail like that is really cool. Yeah. I like lots of planes like that, like the Swedish J21s. They have that. They're also like a pusher configuration, so it makes more sense. But I just like the style of that, like having like the tail fin sticks at the back and like elevators like on the back. It's really cool.
It is nifty. P-38s have that as well, and the P-61 Black Widow, if I remember right.
Ooh.
Yeah, all configurations, all cool planes.
The Bronco's a pretty cool plane.
It is. It is.
The
I'm
Bronco
not sure
holds...
if I like misheard somebody, but apparently there's one coming to DCS, like an official one at some point.
Oh yeah, according to Airshow, that's coming in 2.9.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, have you seen the Kiowa? Like the fucking, you can actually hold the M4 in the cockpit.
Yep. Too close to missiles switching to guns.
Yeah, it's coming in 2.9. It's gonna be here any day, guys.
And what do you mean my breathing privileges have been revoked, Fracture Mold? I don't understand.
Just stop breathing.
What?
Yeah, just hold your breath.
We still have one more civilian side story to go through.
Okay, do that. Go do that, then hold your breath.
We still have one more. Okay. Next one.
But yeah, with the Bronco coming to Microsoft Flight Sim and the F-16 already being in it, you can recreate the F-16's first and only guns kill.
Oh yeah, you did that. But here we have.
Bronco.
Wow, I actually didn't have any jets in this section, this civilian section this week. I just realized that. Next up, Microsoft has pushed out a massive update for the ATR 72 and ATR 42. We haven't seen an update for that plane in like forever. And they just decided, well, let's just go squish as many bugs as humanly possible. So they did. Microsoft, swinging around their gigantic budget, decided update time, and the list of bug fixes, it just goes on and on and on. It's as far as you can scroll. More bug fixes. And it's great because there were a lot of bugs that needed to be fixed. It's one of my favorites. It's a great airplane. It takes off and lands from short fields. It flies fast enough. You can island hop with it. You can land on unprepared strips if you really want to. You can bring friends. You can do stuff with it. Like you could like put people inside of it and then like fly it somewhere, or cargo, or people, or I guess sharks and dogs. That's an option too. And then you fly it, and you take off, and then you like cruise for a bit, then you like land it, and then you take all the people off, and then somewhere in that line, like that kind of like that process, you get some kind of money, I think, or it does what it does.
Joe, how many living sharks can it hold?
Well, are they like sharklet sharks or sharks?
Sharklet sharks.
I think up to 76 or 78 sharks on the big version, which is 72. Yeah, that's a lot of sharks.
It's a fair number of sharks.
It's lots of sharks. And then like it's got a cool thing on the wings where it's anti-icing system. It's not like one of those heated wing ones that like jets have. What it does is like when you turn it on, it's called a pneumatic boot. And a lot of planes kind of have them. A lot of planes have this, but it looks cool in the ATR because they're big. And when you turn it on, it puffs up the boot with air and it breaks all the ice that's on the leading edge of the wing. And then it all falls away.
That's really cool.
It is very
cool. That's actually really cool. Icing's like a massive issue.
Yeah, icing's bad.
Yeah.
We like have no defense against that in DCS, but in this we do.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool systems in the prototype and development stage for anti-icing. I actually read a really cool report on one that was piezoelectric. So you just shake the wing at just the right frequency to cause the ice to shear off. But the problem with that system is piezoelectric transducers have a fairly short lifespan if you're trying to do something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what those are, but
yeah, I don't know what those are either.
A piezoelectric transducer is a slice of, I think it is quartz, and if you put pressure on it, it will put out voltage, and if you give it voltage, it will put pressure out.
Oh.
So like
That's kind of interesting.
If you used like a what's it called? A lighter, like a not a Bic lighter, but like one of the trigger ones. Those usually have a piezoelectric transducer behind the trigger that you're using to get the voltage to light the fuel. And I think a lot of stoves have that too.
It's a quartz crystal that turns oscillations into an alternating current and vice versa.
Interesting. I just realized on the pneumatic
you can do it for
the Beach
that,
Turbo
but,
Duke had that too.
But the piezoelectric effect is a bit different in this case. All right, we ready for the next story?
Hi, next story.
Yeah.
All right, so DCS has shown off the new cockpit model of their F100 by Grinelli Designs. From this, we could see that it is going to be even more disgusting than the Tomcat.
Gotta give a bit of a dirt and crust inside. But God, the Super Saber, what a cool plane, an interesting plane.
Just look at this cockpit.
As an interceptor, but it couldn't take off at night or in bad rain.
Well,
it kind of lacked a
you,
radar.
Why would you need to take off at night or in rain to intercept bombers? Bombers are only going to bomb you in the day, right?
Yeah, totally sure, Smile. I guess the Russians didn't get the memo, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
the Super Saber is a really interesting plane because it was supposed to be an interceptor, but it didn't really get to shine as an interceptor. Instead, they just strapped bombs to it, and I believe that's what the D model was. I believe the D model gave it more bombing capability, and And that's kind of like the most popular model you see and like hear of in like stores and stuff like that. It's an interesting plane.
It's supposed to be an interceptor, but they strapped bombs to it. Is a tale as old as aviation itself.
I mean, American aviation, like America strapped bombs to everything, and honestly, it kind of worked out.
The Soviets did it too. The MiG-3 was supposed to be an interceptor, high altitude interceptor, but they strapped bombs to it because they didn't like using it for high altitude since nothing was up there.
Yeah.
Until it was.
Yeah,
you know, the whole like B-29 thing, B-17s,
Well,
B-24.
the MiG-3 existed in World War II and the interwar period, so it wasn't when the U.S. was its enemy.
Yeah.
That's fair. You know, it is like the third MiG of all time.
Yeah, and it carries on, or possibly starts the tradition of MiGs trying to kill you on takeoff and landing.
Yeah, that's kind of an issue they should probably like actually solve, because you know.
Nah, they just retired it from service after it killed too many pilots.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a smart thing to do.
I can't wait to see it be like completely uncompetitive in even Cold War servers. I think that's gonna be really cool to watch.
the F-100.
The Super Saber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it's gonna suffer, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I like all the stuff like that. I like my dials, like my analog gauges and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'll probably end up picking it up at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I'll fly it, but I'll probably end up picking it up at some point.
One of the planes that can fly.
A plane of all time.
Oh, I think it comes with an air-to-air refueling program on the D version, which I guess that's kind of like a thing.
You get to suffer in air-to-air refueling.
You can try an air-to-air refuel, a plane that really wasn't designed for that.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? It's gonna go so well. They also had that like zero length takeoff system thing where you strap a rocket to the bottom of it and just launch it from the back of a truck.
This is fine.
I don't think they'll be able to make that work in DCS, but it'd be cool if they tried.
I'm sure they could.
If they
did I don't trust them to.
If they put it in if they put it in DCS, they would break all landing gear for every module for the next patch or two.
That might actually happen soon. They're replacing all the landing gears with like new animated ones, which are also like two pieces. So you have like the compression at the top and like the compression of the wheel and stuff like that. Yep. It's really cool.
That's actually pretty nifty for them to finally toss it into DCS.
It'll be interesting to see what changes.
Yeah.
Like they've used the Mosquito as a test bed for it, and it's kind of looking pretty nice. So.
Yeah, it's almost like we reported on this last week.
Oh, did you? Oh, that is fantastic.
We did.
Yeah.
Additionally, the F-100 was operated by the French. They used it to do French stuff.
Oh no, not the French.
No,
let me guess, they strapped a nuke to it.
Oh yeah, but Exon's like the good French.
Yeah, he's really nice and makes all those cool ops for us to fly in. We would not have Saturday content without him.
Yeah, Exxon is absolutely fantastic. Every single weekend, there's always a mission waiting for us. It's lovely.
It's great, and then we can go up, and then we do a thing, and then we
do a thing, then we land.
We land. We grab more things to do more things with. Eventually, sometimes we run out of things, and we run to Dubai.
Like this morning when we went on a holiday to Dubai, went through the AFA portal, landed, and then turned our F-15 into an Uber.
And then we never, ever, ever would leave Dubai or the Persian Gulf. We would never do that and fly back to the United States to escape.
Never happened.
We wouldn't do that.
This isn't the plot to Area 88. We totally didn't like desert the fucking...
We
milked, we didn't at all.
We wouldn't go home. No, we would never do that.
We wouldn't go home. We're still in Dubai, clearly.
Yeah, we're clearly still in Dubai. We'll be back any minute now. I don't think he's paying attention. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, on the note of France and French people, I'm on the wrong window, so I couldn't. Okay. DCS, with their channel map, has announced that they are getting new procedural grass, something that will certainly melt several CPUs on release, but may make the simulator look nicer for the short amount of time pilots are on or near the ground.
So, there's
Sharklet.
been a lot of changes to DCS recently, which is really hinting at something, and you mentioned it last week with the DCS like spherical earthing. So there's been some technologies, and no one's really like mentioned them, but the Sinai map used some sort of generator to make the towns there. They were very clear about mentioning like the tech they used to generate the towns. And now they're generating grass as well.
Yeah, procedural generation is a long-used technology to help
Yeah.
assist in map making. A lot of people tend to not realize this. They think about more of it coming about in the Minecraft era of video games.
Yeah, no,
But-
it's been done for a long time in like the pipeline of like development. But the way DCS is doing it and how it's showing up and how now they're mentioning like a full Earth map, I have a feeling that the Earth map is going to be taking like heavy use of these technologies, maybe even at runtime, so it doesn't have to store it all on your PC. Because there are games out there. A big example one is a game called Fuel. Now that was a racing game with a massive open world map, like 4,000 by 4,000 kilometers. And that game was tiny because they generated the map based on a seed. So every time you launch the game, the map would just be generated. So, and that was super cool. And I think that's how DCS is going to do its massive open world map.
So
I'm not sure you could do it quite that way because you need to sync it between multiple clients, so you need everything to end up exactly the same.
If the input seed is the same, then it will always be the same. That's how it works.
The
like,
seed's
imagine
a
Minecraft,
random
you have
number
a seed,
generator.
You can put that in, and it'll work fine. It was 120 kilometers by 120 kilometers, yeah. But no, if the seed's the same, then it will generate the same for everybody. And I believe that's how it will be. It will be like a height map, and then all the details will be based on a seed or something like that.
Yeah,
You-
procedural
my
details is
guess.
fine, but you got to have the height map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the height map is easy. Height maps aren't too complicated, especially if it's like a... Well, I imagine it'd be low res apart from maybe like around cities or points of interest.
the
Actually, no, I'm gonna do that.
you're assuming ED will pick the smart option instead of having us have 70 gigabytes of grass data on the world map.
They're going to
They've-
have
they've been
300 types of
changing-
grass.
They have been changing file formats, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Thing.
They're working on something. They're cooking something big. I'm moderately excited.
I think we could have fun. We could like fly into theater. You know, you and I could just sit inside of a Strike Eagle for like 8 hours, flying from like Europe to the Middle East.
Technically completely possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that. You know, we could hit a tanker, or we could. I think you can go 6 hours on just 3 bags and no other stores.
Yeah.
I'm gonna-
Now, Keita said he thought it'd be a scale model of the Earth. Now, lots of people have this idea that spherical Earth means an actual, like, spherical Earth, which isn't... It's not a viable thing, because then you have to, like, model gravity and, like, curvature and all that stuff. That's not gonna happen. I've kind of messed around with DCS a bit. I spawned in the Sinai map, and I set my coordinates to Mexico. And the night it's like the Earth is already like simulated. So in Mexico on the map, it was nighttime. I teleport to Sinai, it was daytime. It was really cool, really interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. But I believe that's what they mean by spherical Earth. It's gonna be the same DCS as it is, just the map is endless and repeats. I don't actually think we're gonna make it a sphere. I think they'll just still use a shade of magic to make the world look curved at like a height, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was said before that the editor works in a spherical coordinate system, so it can handle all of the time and whatnot. So you don't have,
Yeah,
if
it
you
does.
put in it's this time local time, it'll set it properly. If you put it in as this date local time, it'll do that properly. And one of the things that was brought up is that the maps are flat, but the editor is spherical, and that causes some headaches, especially if you get into bigger map sizes. So the DCS Spherical Earth, it is targeting more of rectifying that at the moment.
Well, it's the map thing is not gonna be fixed by that. You know how like we have like 2D maps and a globe? If you try to project a straight line onto a map, it will not be straight on the globe. It'll appear curved. I don't think you can really fix that. That is... Look, DCS runs on an XYZ coordinate system. It's always going to be that. I really don't think it's ever going to be spherical. That's just a waste of resources. That's going to be way too complicated for something like... If it was Kerbal Space, then maybe, but I even think Kerbal Space does some whack magic to make that shit work. I have no idea how that works. But I think DCS will just gain a full-size world map.
Microsoft Flight Simulator manages the spherical, so it's doable. We'll see what they actually do.
Both Mariners and South Atlantic Line curved maps, you can see that? Huh.
Yep. Next story is the Falcon BMS team put out an F-16 Falcon 50th anniversary video, which gives all F-16 pilots an existential crisis as they realize the following meme that the Sabre is not a 50-year-old jet. The F-15 and F-16 are 50-year-old jets.
Pretty scary.
It is very scary. How old?
It is the 2020s. We are... Oh my. Well, I'm not old.
Look, I sometimes remember my childhood, like the early 2000s, and I'm like, I can't be that old. Then I remember my back starts hurting. My back has started to hurt. I'm at the age where my back starts to hurt. We are old. We are very old. But oh my god, the F-16 being 50, isn't that like a very recent thing? Wasn't that like yesterday or today?
I think it was like last week.
Yeah, it was in this past week that it turned 50.
Okay, it was in the past
50th
week.
anniversary of its
Twitter
first
earlier,
flight.
So I was kind of curious. Yeah, time passes when we live.
People die when they are killed.
Indeed. And then moving out of combat flight sims into the real world, we have only a couple real world stories, and both of them are from NASA this week. So this past week, NASA announced further information on their upcoming PACE mission, which is launching early this year. PACE stands for Plankton Aerosol Cloud Ocean Ecosystem, and it will and they're being a little crafty with that because they're excluding the O in ocean, and the E in ecosystem is included instead. But it will be used to take data about its namesake with a variety of light-based instruments for further study of Earth's climate as part of NASA's goal to have space-based observation of Earth's climate.
Oh, I'll probably get to watch that launch. That's kind of cool. Maybe. I don't know if they do it in California or not. That's nifty.
Yeah, launches are cool.
Yeah, I can watch those. I can just look outside.
Oh.
I'd like to cover every...
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to cover every space launch on this, but with SpaceX, we'd be like, all right, SpaceX launched 3 rockets this week. And it would get boring quick.
SpaceX launches a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know. I get to hear all the sonic booms every time. I get to hear the rumble of the rockets every time. Every time they return, every time they come back to land, I hear the sonic boom as they come over my apartment.
Joe, OPSEC.
That's what there was down like 100 miles.
There's loads of apartments. You could be in one of them.
There's 500,000 plus people where I live. It is not easy to narrow me down.
I'm gonna start knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do it.
Find you eventually.
You're British. You'll just melt as soon as you get here.
That is true. I can't handle the heat.
Or you have to return to the ocean, which I guess you'd be with your shark brethren for a while.
I mean, if we wait for global warming, the ocean might arrive there before I do.
Yeah, that's fair. But there's like, like it's nifty. Like the rockets, they make noise and then they make pretty lights and they go, and then sometimes they come back. Yes, I know you know where I live, Spaceman. That's not special. Sharklet knows where I live too, and I think Mika as well. Like that's not special. It's not a.
The
I'm trying to
RAF
flex in the
has
chat.
the RAF has started to use VR to train helicopter pilots, and they're going to try it and put the F-35 radar in a Eurofighter.
Yeah, they'd probably be able to squeeze it.
Probably.
You can squeeze
and the VR
anything in
thing
if you
just
push
kind
it
of
hard
makes
enough.
sense.
Yeah.
VR's cool, and I mean, it's a good training resource. I mean, if you can get people in a simulator in VR, it's gonna help teach them. It just makes sense. VR is becoming an everyday part of our lives now. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, but VR is really fun too.
VR is really fun. I'm hoping for like the next gen of VR because I love DCS. Not the hugest fan of Track IR, but DCS in VR is fantastic. But the only issue is everything is slightly out of focus. You have to lean forwards a tiny bit to read the dials. And that's kind of not it's kind of not great.
I did that
And
in
I'm
real
kind of
airplanes
sat
plenty
here
of times.
waiting for Valve's next like VR headset because I believe that's going to be like the next generational jump. And hopefully things will no longer be blurry.
It'll like track.
Foveated rendering, yeah. We need that as
When-
well just for performance reasons.
And like when you look at me in the back seat, if I have VR on, if I like look around, you can see me move more accurately.
Actually, you can't.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
still the same animation thing where it's just like left, right, up and down and all that stuff.
Man, they gotta give me like hands too. We could like interact in the cockpit. It'd be nifty. Well, actually, VTOL VR does that, but yeah.
Yeah, VTOL VR is the VR game. If you want to fly in
Yeah.
VR, VTOL VR just kind of works. It's simplified and everything is bigger. But I mean, that's kind of like what you have to do for VR right now because just smaller things close together doesn't really work with tracking right now because it's just not the best. It works with like well-defined like interaction circles. That's like the whole theory behind VR right now. You have things separated, spaced in between, and there's a bigger interaction circle around it, which kind of makes it work, but it means that you have to like design around it, which is why, well, VR in DCS just feels like taped on. It doesn't really work. But in VTOL VR, it just works. It's really fun. Highly recommend that, by the way.
Yeah, if I get VR, that is on the
Oh.
list.
Hey, Mika, you should play VTOL VR.
I don't have a VR headset.
I could suggest a very bad idea.
What?
If you taped your phone to your head, you
Yeah,
could
no.
technically use the...
Actually, my phone has that too. I could do that, I guess.
I don't recommend it. I do not recommend it. It's really, really, really bad.
Yeah,
Like-
well, it's better than nothing.
I think you'd rather take nothing over that.
I'd rather have my nice monitor than a VR headset at this point because I've not seen any VR headsets that can match the resolution of my monitor.
It's also
Yeah, but you do gain depth, and that's just, it's kind of magical. The first time I saw a Tomcat in VR in DCS, I was like, hold on a second, this thing's actually kind of fucking big. As I was like leaning behind.
Just
I
go
was
see
like,
one in a
"Huh."
museum.
Yeah, because we have those over here.
You
Yeah,
don't?
it's
the,
like
the
we're
British Tomcats, we have plenty of those, right?
you guys,
Yeah.
you British guys have like museums, like where you take all like the Egyptian stuff and like steal it and put it there,
Yeah.
and like refuse
Yeah,
to
but
give
I
it back.
don't think they had like Tomcats.
I think there's a few. I think one of the museums has a Tomcat in the UK.
Let me quickly Google this. I don't think there was.
I think there's only like one. I think it's one of the big museums. I think.
Have a look.
I think there's one in Germany too.
Apparently, there may not be any F-14s in any European museums. I'm pretty sure there isn't. Because I'm pretty sure the whole scare of, like...
Your Orion's just gonna break into
Like-
the Lufthansa Technik Museum and just
Wait,
rip a chunk
Duxford
off
has
of it.
one? Huh.
Yeah, I was okay. See, I'm not insane.
Okay, probably
Yeah.
Duxford has one. Maybe I should
Mhm.
go and see it. Maybe I should go touch it.
You could totally
Should I
do
go
you.
lick the Tomcat at Duxford?
Stop
You know what?
in and give them your Twitch channel name and tell them that you're here to film a video so that they'll let you pat the nose of the Tomcat.
I'm
I
gonna
think
lick
you
the
should lick it.
Tomcat. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
lick-
lick it.
But like, be nice enough to donate to the museum before you lick it, though. You know, so they feel less bad about letting you lick it.
Yeah. I know it'd be funny.
Make it
I
a
don't know if they
challenge
use
so that
it.
if your viewers donate enough money to the museum, you lick it.
Maybe that could be a thing. I could probably do that.
That is
It's for a
definitely
good
possible.
cause. It's
Yeah,
for a
I mean,
great
sure,
cause.
you'll get banned from Duxford, but like, think of the content.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You gotta
I've
wear
never
a big
been
shark
banned
suit
from a
while doing
museum
it.
before. I guess I could
Maybe
do
I
that and
guess
tick that off my bucket
And like,
list.
plus, like, if you move to America, that's a full fresh start. There's thousands of museums you haven't been banned from yet. There, like, who cares if you get banned from one
Yeah,
British
but I
museum?
will say, if I get criminal charges for licking a tomcat, I can never go to Canada.
No, you can just come here and just. Well, first off, why would you go to Canada? But second, if you just come to the U.S. and say, I'm a political prisoner. My belief was that I should be able to lick airplanes as much as I wish. That'll probably be
I'm
good
gonna be
enough to
honest
get
with
you
you,
in.
I don't quite think that's gonna work. I don't think that counts as political prisoner if I'm licking a I think
gotta
you have
make
a
it
very skewed perception of how the law works and what a political prisoner is.
I think like if you come up with a convincing enough story, you'll be able to pull it off.
No,
Oh, I already
have a
convincing enough
all you have to
story.
do is walk into the U.S. and say to the Customs and Border guys that you're seeking asylum, and then you've got at least 8 months in country without getting deported until your asylum case is seen.
You could just straight up do that. You just go right up to the Mexican border and do it.
So you're saying I don't need to marry somebody for a green card? I can just
Well,
do
to
that?
be able to stay.
If you want to stay
probably.
more than like 6 to 8 months, yeah.
Okay, but what if I never go outside so they can never find me?
They'll find you.
I mean, that's how it goes.
I mean,
That's
you're
the
much
pro
more
strat.
distinct than like your average like Mexican dude. So like you're British, they'd be able to be like, hey, that doesn't seem quite right.
I can put on a fake Texas accent. It'll be fine.
All right, try it right now.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Officer. I'm a rootin' tootin' Texas cowboy loving
Straight to jail.
individual. Yeehaw!
Oh yeah, no, you're getting deported. Like,
Straight to
that's-
jail.
I'm getting deported. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, you're,
I failed the
you're
southern
gonna
check.
need to hire someone to be
Right to jail, right away.
I
In
Although it seems
Florida.
like-
Probably there's Brits in Florida, but I want to get away from British
yeah,
people.
there's too many of those here. You should come here and then like eliminate the other Brits. Can you do that?
There can be only
like a
one.
battle royale.
Kind of like that. No, it's like so they go to the grocery store where I live,
Yeah.
right? And they're really annoying because they don't know how to buy anything at the grocery store. They can't operate the shopping carts at Aldi correctly. They can't like function correctly, and they barely know how to drive. Can you just come here and use your like British skills to hunt down other British people and then just like throw them in the ocean?
Okay, I take offense to you dogging on British drivers or European drivers in general.
Well, the ones that appear
Have
in
you
America.
seen
are
American
very bad.
drivers?
Trust me, I have.
Your roads
Somehow.
are like 5 times as wide, and somehow you guys cannot
Oh,
keep it in the middle. And I
look,
don't know how.
The problem is you're combining the worst of British drivers, right, by
Oh,
sending
the
them to
worst of
Florida.
British drivers.
So you're putting them in Florida where you have the worst American drivers at the same time. That's
yeah,
the
that
problem.
isn't great. That is
So
not
you're like,
great.
Imagine like you're it's like you take the lowest like British drivers you have there, so bad that they couldn't like drive in Britain or whatever, and then you just stuck them here. And they still, for whatever reason, think they should drive on the left in the United States for some reason. Oh, and they're all
Actually-
really old.
Do you actually know why? Well, I can say. Do you know why
Yeah.
people drive on the left side in the UK?
Yeah, it was like a sword thingy for the medieval times.
Yeah, I've told you this before, but I'll tell everybody else. So, in Britain and Japan, they drive on the left side of the road because back in like olden times when there was swords or samurais or knights or whatever, depending on the country, most people are right-handed, so their sword is on the left side of their body. So you walk on the left side so your holster didn't like clash with anybody else. And that is why Britain and Japan drives on the left side of the road, because it's just a carry on from those old days where you would walk on the left side.
In Japan, it's actually because of British colonialism.
Yeah, which is it's still the same thing though.
And India, although they don't really believe
Yeah,
in traffic
if
rules
you look
there.
at a map
It's just a
of,
theory. We don't actually
And
know
skateboard.
why it's happened like this. It's just a theory that like it's on the left side. It's said as a fact. I'll just repeat it. It might be true, it might not be true, but it's cool.
There's an
So I'm
island in
gonna
the
believe in
Caribbean
it.
that my
If
dad's been
you-
to where they have American left-hand drive cars, but you also drive on the left side of the road.
Yeah, if you look at a map of the world, highlighting all the countries that have left-hand drive. It's just a map of British colonialism.
If you also make this map show places that play cricket, is it also British colonialism?
Probably.
Is, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Except Canada.
Yeah, you guys play hockey. Where the fuck did hockey come from?
It's great. It's
the frozen
it's
north of Canada.
the British originally claimed it was a Scottish thing, but it really wasn't. It's kind of really a native Canadian deal where they like, well, we got a lot of ice. We got some like rocks. We got sticks. Let's make some like net things or sticks to shoot the rock between two. Oh. And then you put the rock in between the things and goal. And then you can beat the shit out of each other because 1700 sports.
I mean, yeah.
And they kind of stuck. I mean, you watched the hockey game with me and Hex a few weeks ago.
I was around when that was on, yeah.
It was a good time.
It's interesting.
Hockey's fun.
Cool.
Hockey is great.
Yeah.
We love hockey. You should come to a hockey game if you come here. Besides the endurance race thing we discussed yesterday, you should also go to hockey game.
I should also go to hockey games. You just want to make me go everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point. If you go to a vacation in the United States, like you go to do things.
Yeah. What the
hell
hell
is that? I'll throw a rocket launch in there.
What the hell is what?
I see a drone. But the picture you put on, what the hell is that?
It's a helicopter. In space.
Space has no air.
It's on Mars. There's some air there.
Oh, okay.
So on Thursday, NASA lost contact with their Ingenuity probe. This is part of the I forget what the heck the rover was called. It was Mars 2020, last I remembered it. Perseverance. So this landed on Mars with the Perseverance rover, and is a test of aerodynamics on Mars, and allows the duo to cover more area effectively. But on Thursday, they lost contact with this while it was descending from an altitude of 12 meters, causing a few nervous days for NASA. However, just yesterday, they were able to regain contact with the helicopter. And I think it sounds like everything is fine. Normally losing contact shouldn't be too much of a cause for concern because these things are autonomous. So they're able to handle landing on their own.
But it's a helicopter in space.
It's like a helicopter. Like I didn't know about this. I knew about the rover, but I didn't know it had this.
Yeah,
how does it work?
Like
the air has to be so thin, right? How the hell does it actually fly?
It's thick enough. There was a museum I was at in New York. There was an air museum where you did this. You made paper airplanes and like somehow like the atmosphere within a box like simulated like Mars atmosphere versus Earth atmosphere flight. And it's just like you just need to make the wings bigger so they have like a bit more AOA.
Yeah.
So the Martian atmosphere at ground level is around, if I'm remembering correctly, half of a kilopascal versus Earth. We're at about 100 plus ish, like 101 kilopascals of pressure. So it's about 0.5% of Earth's atmosphere. But also working your advantage, Mars is around 0.6 of Earth mass. So you're only getting a little over half of the gravitational force.
Okay.
And so the difficulty of the Ingenuity probe or helicopter is working with low air pressure aerodynamics to generate propulsion, as well as managing the battery life of this thing and flying on another planet remotely, entirely autonomous.
Oh. Well, that is cool. The more you know, you learn something new every single day. I generally had no idea about this at all. Like, in the slightest.
That's part of why I like including NASA news on this, because there's a lot that NASA has really fallen out of reporting in recent years, and they're still doing a lot of cool stuff, even though they're not really doing a ton of launches.
Yeah. I will say that I've not seen NASA in the news for a while. I thought it was just because, like, I haven't really looked at the news. I've been really busy, but yeah, I don't really hear from them at all, like, ever. And also, Lunchtime says apparently it was so, like, useful and so, like, good that they're now considering an aerial drone for like all future missions, and I believe that's actually a really cool thing. Because a rope is really restrictive, because you kind of get ground level and that's all you see, but like an aerial drone, you get like to see a lot.
Yeah, they've got satellite bird's eye views, but those, I think their resolution is like half a meter at best. And I don't even think they're that good. I think it's about 1 meter square they can see.
Yeah. Yeah, drones are cool.
Oh, shoot. I just remembered another story. There was a Japanese probe that was attempting to land on the moon, and it managed to land on the moon, but it is currently upside down.
That's a little suboptimal.
Yeah, it's very suboptimal.
Like ASP rules, so.
But
as long as your kerbals can get out.
The systems seem to be mostly fine on it. There's speculation they might be able to use RCS thrusters to tip it over. They're likely going to spend a very long time figuring out if they can turn it over safely or not. But Scott Manley put out a funny tweet saying that if they burn the entirety of its propellant pushing the moon, they can move the moon by about 6 inches by the time the sun has finished its current phase. In millions of years.
In millions of years. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it in Kerbal Space before, just, quick save. Use the thrusters. If it doesn't work, just quick load.
F5 for safety.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Yeah, F5 for safety.
It's great.
All
it
right.
always works like that.
And finally, we're on to the guest segment, because Sharklet hasn't been putting any input in this show yet. It's time for her to shine.
Time for me to shine, yeah. Because sadly, I don't know too much about civilian aviation, so, I couldn't say much when Joe was talking. I felt kind of bad about that.
Either when he's talking about civilian
I've been
aviation.
trying to get you to try it. You saw how nifty those planes looked. You could have them.
I need like 1,000 million gigabytes to download Microsoft Flight Sim.
I know, but it's so fun. You should do it. You should do it.
It's relaxing.
It's worth.
I want
It's
to give
fun.
it a go.
See, do you remember how relaxing it
I've
was?
flown something like Microsoft Flight Sim or something like that.
Yeah, I knew it eventually would
flying
happen.
like the old ones.
Yeah, it was fun. It's like the old ones, but just better.
Yeah,
with more
just
planes.
better.
Mika and I had a blast flying together. Like, we had a ton of fun.
We had fun?
We had fun. Remember when we raced that guy into Miami? Like, that was a blast.
That was so
slow. We didn't want to wait in line behind him to land. So we're like, wait a minute, we're a business jet. We can go faster than this guy. And then he started going faster, and then we went faster, and then he went faster, and then when we went faster, he tried to go faster again. Eventually, we got faster, and then we broke the rules, cut off of our arrival procedure, and cut the line. And then he's like, oh, we'll let you guys in instead because you make a smaller wake than me. And we're like, oh, we did that all for nothing. It was fun.
I'm sure that's riveting gameplay. I swear that has to be.
It was so dumb, but so fun.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fun, relaxing flying. Like, it's like what we do when we're done bombing stuff, where you go up, we fly around a little bit, check some things out. It's the same principle.
Yeah, same principle.
Different equipment.
Yes.
I even got my own little mini airline, which maybe we'll do that. We'll bring that up next week.
Oh yeah, you have a cute little airline. You've been setting that up. It's really cute.
I
think
was. Thank you. Thank
Joe,
you.
I like when
it,
people like do stuff like that.
Joe, you should provide weekly reports on your airline.
Yeah, let me see if any of my pilots are flying right now. Give me like 30 seconds. Not 30, like 10 seconds. Refresh.
All right.
Joe, I've heard that some of your landings aren't quite successful.
One was not successful last year. The rest of my landings were fine.
Okay.
That one was the plane's fault. That wasn't my. That one actually wasn't my fault.
It was the plane's fault. It wasn't your fault.
So there was an issue with the Category 3 auto land system on that specific airplane. Is a bug that I reported to AnyBuilds, where what happened was it decided right at the end of the landing phase, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna take one out of Boeing's playbook, and we're gonna command full right aileron with spoilers.
See, this is why you don't let a computer take your piloting job.
Well, normally, so the problem is normally, I will land it by hand. That time it was really late at night, and the other problem was you normally use this Cat 3 auto land system when there's no visibility to see the runway with your eyeballs. So when I'm flying like up in Finland and things like that, or Ireland or Scotland or England, or really most of Europe that's not like on the Mediterranean, the visibility can get really bad, especially during winter with snowstorms and fog and all the awful things that happen over there that make me want to never live there. So if I can't see, I need a way to land the airplane safely. So what happens is you have the Cat 3 system, which takes the ILS like you have in DCS, and then feeds it through 2 autopilots instead of 1, so that you have like a guaranteed the autopilot is working and won't fuck up.
And if they disagree, I guess it just disables it?
Yeah, and you go around and you go to a different airport. But what it does is it'll automatically land the airplane like through the full face. Like it'll do the entire landing. All you have to do is cut the throttles back to idle at the end.
That's
and it'll do it.
Pretty scary.
It's really cool when you do it. Like it's so if it's a well-made add-on, it'll work perfectly, and it'll have a really soft, perfect landing. Nothing will break. However, occasionally, on some airports, sometimes bad things can happen with new add-ons.
Sometimes.
And it just happened once. I've never seen that glitch happen with that airplane any other time. Any Builds makes a great product with the A300. I love flying it, but maybe we won't do that again for a little while until maybe the 1.04 update instead of the 1.03 update.
I will say one thing. You're very trusting of autopilot. See,
well,
I don't really trust technology. Look, I wish to own a shotgun to point at my printer, so when it makes any bad noises, I can shoot it. That's how untrustworthy of technology I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, I've used it in real life, so my brain just trusts it because I know how it works in real life. I know it won't hurt me. It's going to do what I tell it to do, and as long as I read the manual, I know what it's going to do. And if it breaks, I just turn it off.
You put way too much faith into it.
You kind of have to. Like, that's just how it works. Like, honestly, like, comparing flying with steam gauges only over long distances versus when I, like, would fly with a glass cockpit, like, the pain in the ass factor is way less with a glass cockpit, and it's much more relaxing. There's just a lot less fiddling with stuff, and I can just chillax, focus on communicating with air traffic control, and then just let the plane take care of some of the stuff. It's like having a Wizzo, but your Wizzo's a computer, and it's not Jester where he, like, punches out if you're slightly threatened by terrain.
I've had Jester eject when I spawned on the carrier. The second the engines were on and his ejection seat had power, he just ejected.
Imagine if, like, Jester couldn't eject.
Just don't arm his seat.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, it's like a Jester with an unarmed seat. He can't.
I mean, he arms it by default all the time. You can't stop him.
Well, I do fly things without fly-by-wire. Plenty of them. The only planes I have fly-by-wire control systems are, I think, the CRJ, the ATR, and the A320. All the other stuff doesn't have fly-by-wire control systems.
I find it funny when people will tell me, hey, Mika, you gotta fly things that aren't fly-by-wire. And I just go, have you not seen how I started flight sims? I flew entirely prop tail draggers, steam gauges and all.
Yeah, like it's... And honestly, it's like, there's no real... You still feel the feedback just fine between fly-by-wire airplanes and not. And it's a flight simulator. You can't feel the feedback anyway, no matter what.
Yeah, you can't feel anything.
Like I spent enough time puttering around in 70-year-old Cessnas that, like, I feel that I don't need to make myself suffer for no reason.
Well, is fly-by-wire really that necessary? Like, do you suffer without it?
I mean, it doesn't make a difference. Like, it's like...
I mean, in a flight sim, it only makes a difference if you're, like, pulling some crazy maneuver where it will limit you.
Well, you have things like envelope protection and things like that, but, like, in real life, I've only ever flown things that didn't have fly-by-wire controls, so it was like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it's just... Nobody's gonna chuck fly-by-wire control systems into, like, a Cessna 182. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. So it's like when you fly it, it's just a design philosophy thing, and it's like it's safer for airliners because you have things like flight envelope protection. It's like you have better redundancy. It's all that kind of deal.
It's also safer for, like, military side as well, because you know you can't over-G the aircraft as easy. You do have an override in case of like emergencies, but you're not supposed to use it.
Yeah.
And I guess it helps you like manage your speed, make sure you don't pass out and die.
I mean,
then you have
a great
Also,
example.
trim is also a really cool thing.
A great example of that is the F-16's fly-by-wire, because it's it lets you have a fundamentally unstable aircraft that you wouldn't physically be able to fly without the fly-by-wire. B, you're more likely to damage the aircraft's stick than you are to get the thing into a stall, because it's got stall protection, unless you're just gonna go so slow that you stall. But an accelerated stall, that is what it protects you from. And the AOA limiter will most of the time stop you from over-G'ing the airframe. It's not a G limiter, so you can still fuck it up, but it's pretty handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really weird. When I was first learning to fly the F-16, I actually hated it at first. Because I was used to flying the Tomcat, and in that, because you'd kind of only have dampeners to like smooth it out, you could kind of like overpull, and it was a lot less restrictive. So when I first flew the F-16 in DCS, I felt really like restricted by it. In fact, I spent more time fighting the plane than actually like being able to like fly it correctly, and it took me a long time to adjust to like the way it worked. And now I enjoy it a lot more now. I've gotten like way used to it. It's
definitely
still really weird though.
Flies really fucky in DCS, especially right now, because like on takeoff it won't let you. On takeoff, if you yank the stick full back, it just doesn't go.
Yeah.
There's some weird things going on with it.
I've noticed in the F-16 and DCS, if you roll left and right, the nose dips like a lot, and it feels like it dips like way too much. And it doesn't really bounce back when you go straight. It's really weird.
There's a classic, or not a classic video. There's a video showing the comparison of a real life F-16 doing like a 90-degree roll and pull compared to a DCS F-16, and it's a huge difference in nose dip.
Yeah, so this may all just be like a myth or something, but I've been told by somebody that in DCS the air is slightly thicker than it should be. And several other planes, most notably the Harrier, have too much weight and too little drag, and that affects how they fly. Now, I'm not sure how true this is. I've been able to confirm it myself. I'm pretty sure you probably could confirm it with like data mining or something. But apparently DCS is a little bit whack, which I can believe. I can totally believe. I believe it. But yeah.
All right, let's move on to the questions. Joe, let's try to alternate questions this time. So I'll ask one, you ask one, and it should end up where you can ask that one that you added there that I'm looking at. But I'll start.
He added one?
He added one since we started.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting.
But I'll start. So Sharklet, is life difficult being a shark?
Is life difficult being a shark? Well, life is difficult, but I don't think it's related to being a shark. I think life is just kind of harsh, and like a lot of life isn't down to like the person, it's down to like the situation they're in.
Yeah, but I imagine it has to be really difficult since as a shark you need to move and swim to breathe, and you can't swim.
Yeah, I can't swim. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why this happened, but I was reminded, well, I was actually asked about the last time I went swimming at one point, and I was reminded that I can't actually swim. And by that, I mean I can't willingly swim. See, I almost drowned once. And you can bet your ass I somehow swam then. But I can't willingly choose to swim. It's more like a matter of like self-preservation. It kind of just happens. But I'm not going to go jump into water because I will probably get myself in trouble. So yeah, no, life is not too bad as a shark. Not being able to swim is the greatest. But I'm sure if you threw me into water, I have a good chance of living. So yeah.
People do float, after all.
People do tend to float. Yeah, that's actually the scary thing. So I used to be scared of water due to my like almost near like drowning experience. So I always found it hard to trust people when they said, "Oh, you just float." But it's actually really true. If you just lay calmly on your back, you will literally just float up. In fact, it's really hard to like not float sometimes. Like your legs can just kind of go up, especially like in like salty seawater. It's really weird. It's a very weird sensation because I've been in the ocean in Turkey before because I've managed to visit there once. It's like one of the 5 places I've visited in my life. And there was a nice little like blue lagoon place there. I forgot what I don't remember the name. I think it roughly translates like Blue Lagoon or something like that. And the water was really salty, and you could not stop floating no matter what you did. It was super weird. It's like a really like sensation. You could not sink for the life of like anything. It was really cool. But yeah, no, swimming is hard. Life is fine. Being a shark is fine, yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I can say about it. Being a shark is fine.
All right.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Joe, I think you weren't around when I mentioned it, but I've got the questions kind of highlighted. So I'll ask the highlighted ones, you ask the non-highlighted ones, and we'll alternate.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Why are you a shark?
Why am I a shark?
Yeah.
Do I really have to answer this question again? You said these questions were PG! This answer's not PG!
What?
Okay, I apologize. Why did you choose to be a shark, VT?
Oh, why did I choose to be a shark? Okay. Well...
Or you can answer both, your choice.
Okay, I'll answer both. So, the funny responses, the in-character responses, I remember debuting, and somebody asked, why am I a shark? And I realized, shit, I've kind of, like, not thought this through. So, on the spot, I came up with the idea that my father had intercourse with a shark, and I was born naturally. Which was a cop-out, but it's kind of stayed. And every time I tell this story, I tell it like the straightest face ever. And people have just accepted it so far. I'm very happy that the community around me is so accepting, and they just are like, yeah, sure, that fits. So yeah, but the other character is, why did I choose to become a shark? So, you know those IKEA shark plushies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was given one several years ago by somebody who cared about me. I was going through a really like rough part in life. I'd recently lost somebody I cared about, and I was pretty depressed all the time. And they saw this like cute shark thing online, like the fucking IKEA shark, and they were like, you know what? Scar's kind of lonely. She feels sad. Why don't I buy her this cute shark? And one day, just magically, a box appeared at my doorstep. I open it. It's a plush shark. And I was like, why would someone buy me a plush shark? Like, what am I going to do with this? And I kind of just throw it, I throw him onto my bed. I kind of just leave him there for like a month. And then eventually one night, I was just kind of like laid there. I just staring at the shark plush. I'm like, you know what? You're kind of fucking cute. I like you. And I called him Nibbles. And ever since then, I've kind of like a lot of running gags with like the shark plush. So I've taken pictures of it with like my airsoft guns. I've taken pictures of it like in the woods outside. I've taken many pictures with the shark, and I just find it funny. And it's become like a whole meme online where people just do that. So it's cool. And I guess through there, I've learned to enjoy sharks.
Interesting.
Because technically growing up, I already like had pet fish. We used to have like a pond in the garden. Don't have it anymore, but we used to have like a pond in the garden with fish growing up. But sharks are cool. And I blame that shark plushie for like everything.
Interesting.
People like used to like associate me with like sharks just because I had that plushie. Used to take pictures all the time. So yeah, that's why I chose to be a shark, because of that. And also because there was technically another VTuber project before that kind of fell through. So it needed to be legally distinct from that. And since that was also technically based on me, we just kind of merged like the shark idea into me.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
we added shark to me, and that's kind of how it happened, yeah.
That's very interesting you answered that without your father, though. My dad couldn't. He didn't fuck a dog. Like, he just made me in a test tube.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
wow. I thought. I thought people, hybrid things like me, you, and me could just came from test tubes, but and failed government experiments, which is my lore. But well, wow,
Yeah, no, I was kind of put on the spot. So
interesting.
it just stays. It just stays. That's how it is. That's how it
So,
stays. That's how it is.
How does whole lot of no, not like that. Oh wait, no. I misread that. My apologies. I thought that was a different comment.
It's best to change topic on.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That's a good idea. People have already made lore about that with other things, but we'll leave that there.
Yeah.
Speaking of segues, did you have trouble getting into the U.S. Customs and Immigration as a shark? Because we are actually here on location in this aquarium.
The Georgia Aquarium specifically.
Yeah.
No, I actually had no trouble. I pulled some strings and I kind of just got in. Like SeaWorld. A big thank you to SeaWorld for getting me in.
Impressive.
Apparently, SeaWorld is actually pretty bad. I've heard lots of news stories that SeaWorld isn't the best place for a shark to be.
Allegedly.
Yeah, there's really no reason for anybody to go to Orlando.
Allegedly. Don't get us sued.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to say allegedly. See, if you ever say anything online, you have to say allegedly beforehand, because then you can't be sued. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we go to the next question. What do you think of the mailman, and why do you hate him?
Is the mailman referring to you?
No, the mailman. Just like that motherfucker that comes up to your house, approaches your humans.
I kind of like the mailman. He kind of brings stuff.
What?
I think hating the mailman's kind of like a dog thing.
Like
I think you two are prejudiced against the mailman. Well, he brings you stuff.
He brings the human stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? Those could be traps. What if he's poisoning our humans?
He isn't. Stop being paranoid. That's fine.
We have to alert the humans that the mailman approaches.
I mean,
he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's why we bark at him. He's got to be. We wouldn't bark at him if he was a good guy.
How do you know he's a bad guy?
He's a mailman.
He's a stranger who comes up to our door.
He's a stranger. He comes up to us. He comes to the mailbox. Then he comes to the door. And he's a stranger that doesn't bring us treats. He doesn't bring us tennis balls. He never comes in to greet the humans. Therefore, he's a bad guy.
So that's actually false. There used to be a postman, a mailman as you call them, but we call them postmen here. Those are actually a postman who did our local area where I grew up. Now, he actually used to give treats to the local dogs. He was very friendly. The dogs all loved him.
That sounds like a lie made up by big postal service.
Yeah, Big Post is lying to you on that one.
No,
Mika and I almost shot a mailman last week.
You shot? Oh my god.
We almost shot him. We almost did.
When?
That's a crime!
We only did it in Terraria. We didn't do it in real life. Remember he walked up the driveway and just conveniently had that large weapon to we just wanted to see if it'd work. The mailman, he got too close. Our humans were threatened, in our opinion. And I think it's perfectly acceptable that if the mailman gets too close, you kill the mailman.
Your humans might put you down if you keep on attacking the mailman.
Well, we defend the humans. We defend the house. The humans have never questioned our behavior.
I'm just saying,
I mean, well,
if you're too much of a nuisance, they will put you down.
No, they wouldn't.
They can't put me down. I deliver the arms to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We'll put the humans down first, and they try.
Yeah.
We normally protect the humans, but who knows if the humans try to put us down for stopping the mailman, they're probably in with the Big Postal. So clearly they're not real good.
I think they are
humans.
in with that. I think they're a big fan of Big Postal.
Oh, yeah, it's not good. We gotta stop the mailman, dude.
I'm not gonna join you in this quest. That sounds like a you thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's two of us.
With your quest, but it's not really something I'm gonna do.
Me and Nika are doing. I mean, you gotta jump in. Take some peer
Sharklet,
pressure.
you might not join us on
You're,
that
you're like
quest.
the ocean dog. You should like totally bite the mailman next time he comes. Like, it'll be funny.
I don't think I will.
So
I
you
mean,
might
you already
not join
bite internet
us
cables.
on that quest, but instead, you tend to join us a lot on flight sims. How did you get started with flight sims, and what was your first flight sim?
So, this is a very complicated question, and there's going to be quite a bit of talking here, and maybe a bit of, like, misremembering, because, I am actually relatively new to the world of aviation, as in, 2 years ago is probably the first time I looked at a plane as an adult and went, that's a plane. So, as a child, I was never... My family has no connections to aviation in any way. But as a child, I did play, like, Tom Clancy's Hawk, at least, like once. I thought the Harrier in Grand Theft Auto was cool. But I never really took a massive liking to aviation for the longest time. And that all changed during my late teenage years, where I started to become interested in military things. In fact, my life took itself down an interesting path where I was surrounded by military things and even managed to get involved with some things that I can't talk about for about another 4 years. But after Ben, I'll tell some cool stories about that. But I was still not into planes. I went through a tank phase, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey,
why are you sorry to hear
tanks are
that?
cool.
No,
Don't.
it was tanks are cool. So, I was introduced to Girls and Panzer by somebody I was very close to, and I watched that show with them, and I was like, tanks are kind of cool. So, a few months pass, and then the person who introduced me to that started playing War Thunder. And, you know, I eventually too started playing War Thunder to play with them. So, I got started on tanks. And I played tanks for years. And I don't know why, but one day I decided to play planes. And it was the most dreadful experience ever. I quit and I never played planes again for 2 years. But 2 years later when I played planes, I kind of liked it. Now, you start off with like shitty biplanes. And when I first started, I knew absolutely nothing about planes. I just kept on playing. It was a very casual thing at first. I think I got to like the Spitfire era and I was just getting my ass beat like constantly. And I kind of sat there, I thought about things, and I eventually met somebody else who was into planes. And eventually they managed to, they sat down, they played War Thunder with me, and they kind of taught me about BFM, what BFM is, 1 circle, 2 circle, energy management, stuff like that. Just lightly touching on these subjects. So I eventually learned how to properly do plane stuff in War Thunder. Now, eventually they decided to introduce me to jet planes. And I was actually bought a War Thunder premium jet, and that was when it all started. That was the point of no return. I learned how to do that, and eventually I was getting a bit bored. Now, the people in my friend group were also getting bored of War Thunder, and they started to play something called DCS. And this is around the time of the 2 Idiots Learn DCS video. So they were pretty interested in DCS. I saw it, I was like, this looks scary. And they're like, no, it's fine. So eventually I was bought the F-14 because I was going to be the Rio for somebody who was flying. And my first ever time in DCS, I was shoved into the back of the F-14 and I cried. I was told to turn it on. I cried. I didn't know what to do. I was so overwhelmed. Like, it was my first time in a plane like that. I had no fucking idea. I'm not even kidding. I felt emotional. I felt overwhelmed. I kind of had to take a step back. And I was like, you know what? This seems hard. I have no idea what I'm doing. But we're going to play again in 4 hours. I got to at least read something to get myself set up. So I spend the next 4 hours studying. And then we go and play DCS again. I managed to turn the F-14 on in the backseat. I kind of figured out how the radar worked. It was not great, and we got shot down quite a bit. And we also kind of ripped our wings off several times because the pilot was also new to DCS. It was a fun learning experience, right? And at some point, I was like, maybe I want to fly. Flying looks rather interesting. So I'd be a Rio for quite a while longer. And then I actually get gifted a HOTAS. The same person who got me the Tomcat bought me the T1600M like stick and throttle. And I still remember my first time ever flying in DCS with that. It actually went pretty well. Apart from the landing. But, oh, and the very first ever incident. I did actually have an incident the first time I flew in DCS, which is my throttle wasn't gripping onto my desk. So it fell onto the floor and my plane went forwards into the hangar in front of me.
That sounds a little rough.
Which is where my friend spawned, but they had a brain to taxi out slightly to the right so I wouldn't crash into them because they foresaw this incident coming. There's a funny clip of that somewhere in like TACView, it's really funny. But no, the first ever plane I flew in a simulator was the F-15. The one from Flaming Cliffs. And it was cool. The landing was terrible. I fell really short. And that was about a year ago, I want to say. It was... Actually, was it a year ago? I think it was a year ago. Or was it 2 years ago now? I think it's like 1 year and 4 months ago is the first time I ever played DCS. And I played it quite a bit. I learned the F-15, then I learned the Tomcat. I mean, I kind of had a break from it for a while. But that was my first ever, like, actual flight sim that I can think of. Now, that's probably not entirely true, because I probably did play Microsoft Flight Simulator as a child at least once. But I'm not going to count that, because I don't think that counts.
Everybody's done that.
I think I played that with a keyboard. And I don't think I had any idea what I was doing. I think I probably just crashed a plane to, like, a building or something. I don't think I actually ever flew. But no, my first ever flight sim was DCS in 2022. Yeah, so that's like 1.5 years ago. So yeah, that was actually the start. I'm really, really new to flight sims, which is a big contrast because people come to me for help with them all the time. And for some reason, I just kind of knew what I was doing from the start. I feel like because I spent a lot of time, well, I played Kerbal Space quite a bit. So I was already very in tune with like, well, Kerbal Space and car games. Because I was also into car games. So I was already used to like relative movement and the theory of like speeds and stuff like that. So when playing like DCS, I already kind of had an understanding of like how to land. You know, like you make the ground come towards you but slowly. I say that often like in a joking way, but that's kind of how it is. Like you can learn procedure and everything, but at the end of the day, the fallback is always make ground come towards you slowly. Which isn't too hard. You will always land fast doing that, but it kind of at least works. But yeah, I don't know. I've somehow just fallen in love with planes. Now, this is where I'm going to start answering questions that you're probably going to ask in the future. So this is going to where I'm going to be answering questions you've not yet asked. But I fell in love with planes. I fell in love with the F-14. And I kind of blame War Thunder for that. So around the time I was getting into jet planes, the F-14 in War Thunder released. And I was shown a movie called Top Gun.
Oh, God.
My brother in Christ, it is propaganda, and it works.
Yeah, it does. I think they maybe had like an 80% surge in recruiting or something crazy like that.
Yeah, no. Top Gun is actually propaganda, and it works. They got me. Lads, they absolutely caught me with that. And that is why I love the F-14. The F-14 is technically the first big plane I had feelings for. You know? Like, it was like, wow, this plane is cool. Now, before I was into flight sims, I'd seen an F-14 before, and an F-15, but I never exactly knew what they were. But I knew what the F-14 was. I was like, I've seen this before. This plane is cool. The wings move. and it's just a really cool, hot, sexy looking plane. Like, the F-14 is pure sex, right? One of the coolest planes ever made, and I will fight anybody who tries to challenge that. The F-18, the Hornet is cooler. No, it isn't. That's a lie. That's a massive lie. The Tomcat is way cooler.
I can actually hear Pod typing from here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I can hear Pod typing too. But no, that's why I love the F-14. It was my first, even though technically it wasn't my first, because technically my first was the A5, which is just a Q5, which is a Chinese. It's a Chinese MiG-19 or MiG-17, where they put the intakes on the side so they could have a radar in the nose, because that kind of makes sense. Because that was my first ever jet on War Thunder. It was the A5C. It's just a Q5 with Western missiles. It's not that interesting. It's pretty basic. It's kind of old. But I don't know, that was my introduction. It's a good energy fighter, but that's about it. Tomcat main here? Yeah, Joe Vibro likes Tomcat, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty much the story. Like, that's why I like the Tomcat. That was my first thing in DCS. I also like the Eagle because that was also technically my first as well, but I used that as training because it was simplified. The bindings menu of DCS was like one of the scariest things. And the F-15 was easier to bind than the F-14, and I was scared of using Jester because it's like, well, it's a two-seater, I don't know what to do. So I stuck with the F-15 for a while. But no, DCS, my first flight sim in 2023. No, 2022. Yeah.
Interesting.
I hope it answers that question.
Yeah. We have also a viewer question from that we missed way long ago. It was at 12:18 p.m. Eastern. Mr. Creepy, so Joe has an owner. Mr. Creepy, you already know the answer to that, to if I have an owner and who it is. Don't
oh, yeah,
you don't need to ask that. Yeah. So the
So I guess you don't have human rights then. Because they kind of abolished slavery like many years ago. But if you have an owner, I suppose you don't tend to
I think it's more
rights.
of a symbolic position, really, more than anything
It's more
else.
of a symbolic owner. Okay.
Yeah, probably. Something like that. But Mr. Creepy, you already know this deal. Alright, where were we? Yes. Why did you become a content creator?
So, this is a trick question. And you don't know it's a trick question, but I know it is a trick question. So, you probably believe I became a content creator when I started streaming, right?
No, you told me otherwise.
Oh, okay. Well, you already know then. Okay, so I was 16. Well, I was actually, it was technically when I was like 14, between 14 and 16, sometime around then. I always liked the idea of making entertainment for people. So my content creation goes back, actually probably even further. But okay, let's go back to 2010, 2011. My content creation started out with making things for Garry's Mod. So, back then, I learned a little coding language called Lua, which actually wasn't that scary. See, I'm gonna be honest here, I played a tiny bit of Roblox growing up, and there was always this thing called Lua, and it always scared me. But people were always like, you should learn it, you can do cool things. And eventually, I did manage to try it out and learn it. And I learned it with Garry's Mod, which is, you know, like the sandbox Source Engine game for like Half-Life 2 and stuff like that. And I remember coding like a weapon pack, right? Because I was like, look, people like guns. There are plenty of gun packs. I can open this and look at the code and figure out how it works. So, I basically rebuilt a weapon script from scratch, using other things as references and taking features I liked from all of them and putting them into one. And technically, that was the first content I created, even though that's kind of like an abstract form of content. I'm still counting that as like the start, because it did give people entertainment value, and it kind of, you know, seeing people happy with something I made not only made me feel good, but it gave them entertainment, right? So from then, I was like, okay, coding is cool, But what about making maps for like Source Engine games? So I started to dabble in map making. I made some maps. People were happy with them. Some people were sad. And every time I did something, I built up like a certain skill set. See, this goes into something else, but if you ever like talk to me, I seemingly know a lot about everything. And it's because I'm never afraid to do something. And there's a lot of stories where I just, on a whim, will just go and do something. So, coding, map creation, and then videos. So the next logical step of this was, okay, how do I get my stuff out there? Why don't I make videos and post them on forums on the internet? So I started learning how to video edit. And it started off just showing off stuff I made. But then I kind of got, well, there was kind of a unit in my college education, which isn't actually college. It's technically, I don't know what to call it, because Americans call it college or university. It's technically not that. At the age of 16 in the UK, you can actually leave high school and go somewhere else for a topic of your choosing. So I chose media and like a bit of game design, technically, and like 3D animation and modeling and stuff like that. So around that time, I did a bit of video editing in the past, but that really propelled my desire to want to make videos, film videos, but also make video essays. So I started a YouTube channel where I took a lot of my skill sets and I started to reverse engineer old video games, and I would write about how they were made, cool bugs or features about them, maybe cool content I found, and maybe even cool like modifications that people could download to like change how the game worked. And I would make like full-on videos about this, and they became very popular. Like, really popular. And I kept on doing that until 2018. Now, at the peak of that, I had around 50k YouTube subscribers, and I was getting 250k views every week on videos that were released weekly. And it was a really interesting time. I got to learn how to manage an audience, I got to build a community, and those skills are really, really valuable. Especially what I do these days, because after 2018, I took a massive break from content creation. I kind of got burnt out on it, my life kind of got busy, lots of stuff happened, I just didn't have the time for it anymore. But I always enjoyed entertaining people. Now, on a side note, around maybe 2016, there was something, I can't remember the name, it was like Kazuna AI or something, like the first ever VTuber. I believe it was around 2016. And I remember seeing that. It was back when I used to play Counter-Strike, like semi-regularly, because I also played Counter-Strike back in those days quite a bit. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, you know what, that idea is really cool. I want to stream one day, I want to do that. And I never really got the chance to until somebody approached me with the idea of becoming a VTuber. It was late 2022 when I was approached by somebody with the idea of becoming a VTuber. And I worked with them for quite a while, but sadly it never actually came to fruition. But it did directly cause the start of Sharklet, which leads into me becoming a VTuber, and yeah, it technically, it's just something I like. Being entertaining, being an entertainer, making content, making people happy, having community, it's nice to see people happy. The world is a kind of dark and sad place. I like making people happy. I like making content. And yeah, that's just kind of how I ended up here. I created content because why not? I wanted to show off maps and like code and like weapons and stuff I made for Gary's mod. And then I ended up somehow here. It's just magical. Yeah. And now getting bullied online for people's entertainment, yeah. Okay, so I don't want to say too much, but Rain kind of knows my past. I've known him for like 6 to 8 years at this point. He's seen some of my past content creation projects. He finds them cool. So yeah, I don't know. It's stuff like that I like. You know, I often get people still coming to me on my older accounts, telling me that they miss me or they hope I'm doing well, that they used to enjoy my videos. I don't know. It's like a huge mix. Content creation for me is just a lifestyle, really. I like doing it. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like I achieved something. You know, I like to feel like in life that I'm achieving something at any time of day. And content creation does that for me. So yeah.
I find it funny.
That is why I'm here. That is my motivations to keep on continuing. And yeah. I hope that was a fun little story. It was a little bit all over the place. I probably should have asked for questions beforehand to make a more formulated response, but I think that was a decent response for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any questions you want to add about that?
I find it funny that at the start you said that you figured we thought you started with streaming, but funny enough, we've actually found that a lot of people before becoming VTubers started with something else. So Airshow had YouTube videos before he became a VTuber, before he started streaming.
Talk videos.
I used to make YouTube videos before I started streaming. I think, Joe, you mentioned you did some of that?
Nope. I am the exception to the rule.
Well, he was forced to.
Yeah. But a fair number of VTubers that I've run into have done some form of content prior to streaming.
Yeah.
And most of us will also take what we originally did to our graves.
I'm actually pretty open about what I did. I just don't like talking about it live. I show people it in my Discord after I remove most identifying information from it.
Yeah.
Just so, in case there is anything really cringy out there, they will never find it. I've got some of the stuff I've done. It's cool.
Like, I can't, like, hide what I did because people already knew. Plus, like, it's... Well, the part that I did wasn't content creation. It was like, work, where it happened to overlap with the VTuber world a bit. So it's like, if you're at Mika's audience and you already know what I did, you know what I do. I'm not sure how... I probably need to cut back on talking about that, but it's like...
Yeah, you probably should.
You know, I can say, like, it's like, yeah, it's on one hand, like, you want to find more customers, but on the other hand, it's like, maybe don't draw that connection in case there's still some unsavory figures that I don't want to make that connection.
Yeah. But I would also like to add something about the content discussion. So, a big part of streaming as well, and why you find a lot of VTubers who have done stuff in the past, is back when VTubers were a new thing, they were mostly a Japanese thing, and when the European market opened, there was a lot of companies who wanted people to be VTubers, and the first place they looked were successful YouTubers. Because it's kind of a similar thing, and if people already have experiences with making content, having a community, and managing and stuff like that, it's more likely they would have fit into a VTuber role easier, which did happen. I believe that there's probably a massive correlation between successful VTubers and having a content creation background. Because VTubing and streaming, the whole medium of like streaming actually as a whole, is harder than you think. For somebody who's never streamed before, it may seem easy. You often get the argument like, oh, streaming, or they're just playing a game. That's easy, you know, like anyone can do that. That's not impressive. But it's actually a lot harder than that. Because, yeah, sure, you can just play games. You can use Twitch as like a clipping service if you really want to. That's what most people do. If you go to like the Valorant tag, you will just see people with like one viewer and they simply use Twitch for clipping. And that's fine, they do that. Sometimes they get views, but to become successful at playing video games on Twitch, there's a rule and it goes entertainment first, game second. So this is something I've maybe fallen afoul to recently with Tarkov, where maybe sometimes I play the game too seriously instead of having the entertainment come first, and it's a very difficult thing to manage and balance, because being good at a game is great, but it's also entertaining when you get into bad situations, and it's how you respond to them. how you can play that up and stuff like that. Streaming is very, very hard. You have to capture an audience to keep their attention. Exactly, Joe. That is exactly. You also have to be able to talk about things. And most of the time, it's unscripted. See, the biggest issue I had going from making videos to streaming is that with videos, you don't have to do anything live. It's all pre-made, and you can curate that content to be better. But when you go live, the content just kind of has to flow. And it's really, really, really hard to talk for a long period of time about anything, especially when you're trying to do something as well. Playing a game and talking is hard. It's multitasking. It can be very hard to pay attention to something and talk, especially in something like DCS. But you kind of develop ways to get around that. Like, I've figured out that I can pretty quickly snap between being serious and talking, and I can just remember where I'm like, I left off on a sentence. And I generally fall back to doing that. That kind of helps. So I can talk about anything. Something serious happens, I can then focus, and I can switch back to the conversation. Which kind of works. It's pretty simple, but it works. And the other thing about switching content from pre-made to live is... Oh my god, my ear's ringing. I hate it when it does that. But the biggest change is also the audience. So on YouTube, your audience talks to you through comments. Now, these comments are pretty simple to read. They're also pretty disjointed from the content, as in, they don't interrupt you. Now, when you're streaming, you have a chat. Now, you sometimes may get bad messages. You may get messages that are like trying to throw you off or all sorts of stuff. Having a live audience is really, really, really hard. Especially when you give them ways to fuck with you.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
It's fun. It's really, really, really fun. But sometimes chat can be a bastard. that chat can be a bastard sometimes, like a lot.
Especially when they're convinced of certain events occurring that you don't want to have occur.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but my chat's polite.
Somebody in my chat was convinced that I was pregnant because I was sick. Like once.
That was fucking hilarious.
Oh no, she's sick in the morning! Pregnant! Like,
yeah, the timing on that was like the other thing that was going on was perfect. That was like, you got both right at the same time and they fit together into one theme. God. It was great.
Yeah, that other thing that happened, yeah, I actually had to kind of talk about that at some point, which was addressing the audience. I think it went well. It solved it. It ended. It was fine.
Sure.
Which is also another thing about streaming.
They're still pretty convinced.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to say with streaming on VTube, because VTubing is streaming, but VTubing can also get a bit parasocial, spooky ghost sounds, spooky ghost effects. Yeah, there's a spooky thing called being parasocial, and it doesn't ever end well. And I could go into boundaries, because ever since I started streaming, I've had to learn a lot about boundaries, especially with like viewers, because in the past, with YouTube and stuff like that, you don't really get that. But with VTubing, like parasocialism and stuff like that can be scary, and it can actually become a danger, not only for me, but also for viewers if something progresses like badly, which is a worry. Maybe something like that almost happened, and I managed to spot it instantly and like get that sorted. It's actually really scary. VTubing is generally scary because stuff like that can happen. Really spooky. Yeah, Joe?
That's why I like having experienced people like you and Mika and the boss, where if like they'll notice those things when I fall into the traps, and be like, "Hey, idiot, stop that! Don't do that thing."
Yeah, having a good mod at the start is a much bigger help than you would think, because they can help you spot things that you might not be able to while streaming.
Yeah, so So I'm a big introvert, so I've spent a lot of my life kind of observing people, so I generally had a good idea of what I was getting into coming in. But I really appreciate it because no one's perfect. You can miss things. I have been told things by other people, and like I roll my eyes, right? I'll roll my eyes and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's not that bad. But then I'll actually go and think about it, and I'll be like, is this person onto something? And it's really helpful. It's like really helpful. I'm really glad that people look out for each other. It's really nice when that happens. But yeah, yeah.
The amount of times my mod team has bailed me the fuck out, meaning both you and Mika.
You have
plus,
more mods than followers at this point.
Yeah. Well, I've got I think 8 mods. Because either they win the counting game or I need them because like my other mods aren't awake. I mean, gosh, I'm really glad to have the mods I do because that plus the streamer connections I have really does keep me from acting too stupid. Like just dumb enough to be entertaining to like for you guys, but like not so much where I'm doing something that ends up harming myself in the long term or short term. It really does work well. Obviously there was that situation we had to deal with recently that we can't bring up on stream, but it was like that you guys helped me out a lot with dealing with that, and that I appreciate a lot.
I mean, okay, I will say this. Something that non-streamers will never understand is the streaming community. So when you start streaming and when you start making friends, you will meet a lot of people. And through those people, especially bigger people, you will start to learn the unspoken rules of streaming and being a content creator. Now, you don't really talk about these, but there's ways to handle everything, there's ways to conduct yourself, and it's actually really hard getting into the groove of that. There's an expectation that other streamers have of you, especially when collabing and stuff like that. It's a really different environment to like anything you've really been in before, even like in other content creations. It's really weird, but I love the streaming community as a whole. I'm yet to meet a bad egg. Everyone has been fantastic so far. Because I believe the streamer community moderates itself. Good people are liked, and then people hang out with them more, and bad people or people who aren't the best at like being polite or stuff generally kind of fizzle out a bit. And that sounds a bit mean, but it's kind of how it happens. But the streaming community is very self-moderated like that with connections and stuff. It's really interesting.
It's interesting because like most of the bad eggs I found are on the viewer side, not from, and that was like from working for other people that I came across most of the bad eggs. And you're like, all right, well, I've now learned how to recognize this behavior ahead of time. Now I'll remember that. And then it's like, I mean, all the people on here I've had the pleasure of meeting have been amazing. Obviously, I knew my manager before I knew you guys too. He's been great as well. But I mean, all of you that I've met through the whole like flight simulation VTuber side of things has been awesome. I mean, I've gotten to meet so many cool people that I never thought I'd ever get a chance to talk to or hang out with or play games with, and it's just like, holy cow! I've gotten to do all these things.
Lots of people say that. So people will often like look to like their favorite YouTuber and go, wow, this person's so special and cool, when in reality that person is just a normal person who enjoys the things they do. I have gone most of my life completely ignoring popularity, and that's why I know so many people. I came into streaming already knowing so many content creators of like a huge size. I've known people who have been paid by Mr. Beast to edit videos. I've known massive YouTube. I can't actually name most of these people because if I name them, then it's going to get really like dodgy and sketchy. People googling trying to find out who I am. But I've met a lot of like big people, and I've hung out with people. I've played with like huge people. They're just normal people, and I often see people posting on Twitter like, "Oh yeah, don't approach people if they're big, or like don't be afraid of stuff." It's really true. Just if there's someone you like and you share a space with them, just talk to them. Even the biggest content creators are normal people, and they will most likely be very happy to share conversations about their interests with you. And you can just become friends with them like normal people. They're just normal people. Streamers are normal people. Don't be shy. Talk to people. Their number may be big, but it's meaningless. It's completely meaningless. Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say.
I think
We've
I
gone
missed
on
the whole.
tangent, and now I'm kind
Yeah.
of just like, yeah.
I think I missed the whole "don't talk to people" memo that people were supposed to give to others.
There was
No, you do talk to people.
yeah,
Yeah, but you know how there's like people that say "don't do that." I think I missed that part. That's kind of how I wound up in the whack situation I'm in right now.
Lots of people are kind of like that. They're like, look, if you talk to people only bigger than you, then you're a clout chaser. They will point at you. They will be mean to you. That's not true. If you're clout chasing, it's very, very obvious. People will not talk to you if you're clout chasing. It will be very apparent that you are doing it for your own gain and that you don't have an interest in them. Every time somebody tries to clout chase, I ignore them. Because I do not have time to deal with people who aren't actually invested in wanting to talk to me about things I like or want to share things with me. And I think that's where people get confused, is people want to say that everybody talking to people bigger is clout chasing when it isn't. And I think that scares people off from talking to people.
Yeah.
So, be a nice person, be considerate, and talk to people if they share interests. Don't talk to big people because they're big. Talk to them because you share interests with them.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed, at least from my perspective, I don't know if you guys dealt with this at all, but it felt like all the time that I felt like I was stepping on other people's toes if I talked to certain people or if I did certain things. So I restricted myself from doing that because I don't want to, I guess, bite the hand that feeds or anything like that. Like, it's like you don't want to like accidentally piss someone off by doing something where you think you might upset them by like doing a thing that they do or things like that. Like, that's like that was definitely a thing I saw, or at least felt, was like that. I always felt like I was like jumping on other people, like doing things I just shouldn't be doing within other people's communities, even though it was totally fine.
Well, I believe it differs on the community and like who it is, because every community is different, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, I'll use mine as an example. So I run my community pretty hands off. If there's a problem, I will step in, or one of my moderators will. But for the most part, as long as it follows like the rules of the services that it's on, I'm completely fine with it. Just, you know, the general rule is like, just don't be an ass, you know? A bit of banter's okay, but just don't, like, be an ass, which, like, 99.9% of people just can be, like, people are just normal, usually. They understand. People generally treat people how they want to be treated, so it's kind of, like, a non-issue so far. But yeah, I will say something. People often message me, and then they get shy. And I'll ask them, why are you being so shy? I'm like, oh, I don't want to disturb you. You're probably busy and everything. And maybe that goes more into the topic we just talked about, but, like, I don't know. People just... I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this tangent. It's more like people just... I don't know. I know where I'm going with this. I lost my train of thought. I forgot. Sometimes I remember, but this time I forgot.
Well,
yeah, it happens.
if you don't remember where you're going, God, I can't even speak either. But if you don't remember where you were going on that tangent, do you at least remember where you're going as a streamer and what your goals are?
I don't set any goals. I don't actually have any goals. I know it sounds weird, it sounds counterproductive. I have absolutely no goals.
You don't...
Do you want to know why I have no goals?
It doesn't have to be like numerical goals, like do you want to accomplish something? Do you have like an overarching kind of thematic-ish goal or anything?
Is there like a thing you want to do?
Okay, let's talk. Okay, let me just talk about the first goal. So, I did once have a numerical goal. So before I started streaming, I said to myself, oh, one day I'll have like maybe 20 viewers after working for a long time and I'll be happy. That goal didn't really ever become a goal. It kind of just you know,
It just happened.
You actually know what my first stream was?
Nope.
57.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I was
knew
shocked as well.
You knew a lot of people
See-
going in.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of a very... Sometimes I'm a bit sad on the inside, so I don't like setting goals. I also like to doubt myself. And that's why I don't set goals. So the only goal I really have is just to have fun. As long as I'm having fun, goal successful. If I ever stop having fun, I need to sit down and reconsider everything. But yeah, that's my only goal, is to have fun. And to also have food to eat.
Have what?
Which is a goal, which is a very important goal,
Oh.
because if I don't get food to eat, then I kind of die and I can't stream if I'm dead. But no, I stream for fun. Although technically now I also stream to eat every month. Which is going okay. But no, that's my only goals, to have fun and to stay alive.
So, noble goals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and to make people happy, but that comes under the fun part already. I guess it's also the whole community thing as well. I mean, I also want to keep a community big and busy. You know, wanna know my original idea for the community? So, I originally pictured it as, hey, I play Call of Duty. I would love to get a full lobby of Call of Duty every night. If I make a community, I can have a full lobby of Call of Duty every night. And then I stopped playing Call of Duty and started streaming. But theoretically, I could have a full lobby of Call of Duty every night. So that makes me happy.
Yeah. If you wanted to make us all suffer through a
Wednesdays?
Call of Duty lobby.
Call of Duty's fun with me. It gets a bit unorthodox, but it's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty simple. I'm a simple shark. Not many goals. Mostly because I never want to set a goal and then fail it, because that'll make me sad. So I just
Yeah.
use simple goals.
I tend to use more nebulous goals. So like
Okay.
a lot of people like proper goals that are like specific, measurable, etc. I'm not a fan of that. I have more nebulous goals of like, the point of me streaming is this goal. This is why I'm doing it. And I think people miss that having something like that, an overarching, why are you doing this, is a lot more important than your numerical goals.
Yeah. Well, my goal is to have fun. So
It
yeah,
is an
I
important
guess
goal.
That's kind of the same ballpark. That's actually funny, ballpark, because you're a dog. I think that's at least moderately funny.
What does
Ah.
baseball
you
have
know-
to do with us being dogs?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a baseball
Well,
reference.
you chase balls. Dogs chase balls.
That's not the same type of ball.
You
It's a
think
very
dogs
different
don't-
ball.
Dogs don't only chase tennis balls.
I've never seen a dog chase a baseball.
So-
Yeah, baseballs
back
are
growing
hard,
up,
and you don't like biting
they
into
hurt.
them.
Yeah.
But we used to play cricket in the neighborhood where I grew up,
My condolences.
and the neighbor's dog would always chase the cricket ball.
Well, that's not baseball.
No, it's a
Well,
cricket ball.
It's a bat. It's the same thing.
Are you
No,
threatening
it's
us with
not.
bats?
No comment.
That's
Can we
kind of
move
mean.
on? I don't like this corner I'm being put into.
All right,
Anyway,
I think
speaking of
we
segues,
know the. I think we already know the answer to this question. But what is your favorite airplane?
What's my favorite airplane?
Yeah.
Are you really asking this one?
It's
yeah,
on
we
the
already
list.
know the answer, but it's on the list, so we have to ask it.
You see, my favorite aircraft of all time or my favorite aircraft by era?
You can do either. If you've got a favorite of all time, you can just say that. If you want to do like World War II, Cold War, and modern, that's also fine.
Okay. First, I actually have to check if this plane is classed as World War II, because it might be classed as Cold War. Let me
You
have a
don't
quick
have
look.
to. You don't have to stick like strictly. You can be like World
Well,
War
it's
II-ish.
1945 to 1949.
That's-
That's close
that's
enough
close
to look.
enough,
It's
I
World
don't
War
care.
II tech. So, my favorite aircraft from that time period is the Saab 21, which is, like the J21 or the A21. It's a really funky like pusher design with a propeller at the back. It's just really weird. It's a cool plane. It has a very unorthodox like 13mm guns, which is kind of strange if you think about it, because .30s or like 50 cals were kind of common, or like 7.62 Brownings, but like 13mm is kind of a bit uncommon. It's a bit funky. It's a bit Swedish. It has to be different. But no, I like the Saabs, like the 21s. Not really a huge fan of the jet versions they made. I think they look kind of ugly. The engine at the back's kind of a bit thick. But J-21 ones are pretty cool. My favorite Cold War plane. This is the hard one. See, because is this plane also classed as Cold War? Let me do a quick search. I'm not really sure the classification of this. I mean, this is technically, well, it's 1948 to 1956, which is technically not even a Cold War yet. But my favorite aircraft from that era, like the early jet era, is probably split between the F-84G and the Saab 29. So the Saab 29 is kind of, it looks kind of like a fat saber, like a pregnant saber. Sometimes people call it the barrel because it also kind of looks like a barrel. It's basically just like a Swedish saber to make it really simple. The engine's at the bottom, the tail's kind of at the top. It's kind of weird. It looks cool. It's fun. Yeah, and the F-84, most notably, I think it's the F-84G is the most popular version. It's kind of just like a rocket put on like a pencil, then with wings. And something I learned about that plane recently is that the fuel tanks on the wings can actually be ejected, which I had no idea about until like 5 days ago. When somebody showed me, I was like, wait a second, that's actually true. They pulled out like a USAF like book about the plane, and I was completely surprised about that. But yeah, the F-84 or the J-29 is probably my favorite early jets. Moving into the Cold War era, this is a hard one. See, I like the MiG-21 because it's so basic and it kind of has character.
The MiG-21 is a joy.
I'm going to be objective here. It's kind of not the best plane. It gets the job done, though. It's like an interceptor. It relied entirely on like a GCI to direct it to the target. It afterburned all the way in, did its job, and just went back home. Cool plane. Pretty simple design. Probably trying to kill the pilot at every like point. But I like it.
Classic McMove.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of the Phantoms. My favorite Phantom is actually the British Phantoms with the Rolls-Royce engines. So Britain got a bunch of, I think, F4Js, I think it was. And they decided to shove like a Rolls-Royce engine in it because why not? And they kind of had to make the back of it fatter to fit the bigger engines. And they point slightly downwards. It's kind of cool. It looks funky. Phantoms are cool in general, but that is my favorite Phantom. And I think the Phantom is also a really cool Cold War jet. So I kind of put that side by side with the 21. There's also the Tomcat. What a surprise. I like the Tomcat.
Whoa,
the
who
Tomcat
could see that
is
coming?
One of my favorite planes. It's not... Is it my favorite plane? Is actually a question I have to ask myself. I'm not actually sure it is my favorite plane of all time.
Controversial. Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's like the biggest like shock moment ever. The F-14 is probably not actually my most favorite plane of all time. It's one of my favorites, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna get crucified at the cross for saying this.
Do it.
This is like so out of character because everyone expects me to love BF14 and to be like F14 #1. I maybe, just maybe slightly like VF15 more than VF14.
Good answer.
Just slightly.
I see.
Nobody has ever realized this. You know, like, I did point out that the F15 was also the first plane I learned because of like simplified controls, but I do actually really like BF15. I've always liked BF15. I knew what BF15 was before I liked planes. The F15 is really iconic. I used to play a game called Ace well, it's known by Ace Online now. It's a Korean MMO. It used to be called Space Cowboy Online, then Air Rivals, Flyus, and Ace Online. They had a plane in that, which was basically like everything in there is futuristic. And one of my favorite planes I played in there was basically a futuristic F-15. Which is pretty cool to think about. But no, I think the F-15 is slightly wins against the F-14 in my favorite planes of all time. Which is probably the biggest shocker. I said I was going to surprise you guys today.
Yeah,
I think I have.
yeah.
Yeah. See, they thought I was going to surprise them by acting weird or doing something strange. Nah, I've been completely normal today.
It seems that Chad agrees with your assessment. Just reading it, it's just Spaceman that disagrees. So
See, the F-14 is very cool. I think the F-14 was an amazing icon for the American people at the height of the Cold War when there was a massive fear of Soviet bombers. The F-14 was essentially an anti-air platform placed onto an aircraft which had a very recognizable silhouette and a lot of character behind it. And I love the F-14 because of that as well, but the F-14 was a stepping stone in technology. I think it was a very important one. Pretty much every modern radar is kind of... If you ever learn the F-14 radar and how it works, it essentially translates directly into modern radars, except a lot of it becomes automated. And I find that really cool. The Tomcat was really one of the biggest technology leaps, in my opinion, where radar was suddenly a thing. It's super analog, so like you got all these like dials and all these things. It's all of that becomes automatic, but it's really cool just to play with and figure out how radars work with that. Just in DCS, like yeah, it's simplified. It isn't real life, but if somebody could grab me a real life F-14 with a working radar, you know, that'd be cool. But that's never gonna happen. So I have to live like by the whole simulator rules, but it's a very cool plane. The Phoenix missile is a very cool idea, but it taught us a valuable lesson that firing things super far isn't as effective as firing things close.
Telling me that like big draggy missiles at long distances run out of energy and can't maneuver at the end of their flight phase?
Bombers.
Yeah.
Which they would do, because bombers aren't maneuverable. But if you shoot a fighter jet at a long distance, it does one turn the missile's trashed. And I think part of that and the research they found out from the Phoenix probably did go directly into the AMRAAM. Because the AMRAAM isn't a long-range missile, it's classed as a medium-range missile, which probably confuses people. But it's like, what, like a 40 nautical mile missile?
Yeah, 37, 40 miles
Sparrow.
for the sea.
Yeah. See, the Sparrow is a 30 nautical mile missile, which people also don't realize, like the fucking 7M or the 7MH or 7P. It has pretty much the same energy retention and performance as a Phoenix until 30 miles when it just drops out the sky. Which most people don't realize. It's a really, like, cool fact. I checked, like, the physics on it because I was like, is this just a DCSism or is this actually, like, reality? And I found out it's actually pretty close in reality. They have, like, a similar, like, flight profile. Of course, the AIM-54 has a better motor, but it's also heavier, more draggy. The Sparrow is way more aerodynamic. But, yeah, the Sparrow is technically also medium range. The AMRAAM's medium range. Long-range missiles kind of don't exist. Well, they kind of do now, because we have, like, the hypersonic missiles, which go, like, Mach 5, which means they're there very quickly, which kind of solves the whole maneuvering problem, I guess.
Yeah,
As well as like active radar homing and just better technology.
you have
But
120D and AIM 260 now.
oh yeah, the AIM 260 is wild. There's also like the Meteor.
Meteor, yeah.
Yeah. We know someone who talks about the Meteor quite a bit, but he always like to show off like the fucking no escape zone. It's massive.
Yeah, it's like an 80, what is it, like 80, 60 miles, no escape zone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's you don't want to get shot at. Quite honestly, flying a plane in modern air combat is either the safest thing ever or the scariest thing ever, and I can't make my mind up. It's
Great
one
when
of
you're
the
blue
two
for.
extremes. Oh no, it's definitely great when you're blue for, yeah. Red 4 pilots are kind of struggling out there. I would not want to be against blue 4.
Yeah, it's...
And Falsor still can't believe they're bringing the Meteor to DCS. Yeah, the Eurofighter is coming to DCS, isn't it? Yeah.
I wish it had 2 seats. I want to share that with you. That would be fun.
That's gonna break the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if anyone uses that, it's an instant win button. There's nothing you can do against it. You're just kind of fucked.
We'll see how its stats actually translate, because a lot of the missile ranges, like we should all see with the Ambram, yeah, it can go 40 nautical miles, but you're not going to hit anything outside of 26 at best.
Yeah. But with the Meteor, when your no escape zone is like 60 to 80 miles,
But the no escape zone is always an assumption. What is the maneuverability of the target they're assuming there? Because I could say, oh, well, a 152 has a no escape zone of this range, but what's it going to be on an F-16 or a Su-27 or a MiG-29? There's a lot of assumptions there.
I think when they calculated that was against like modern Fulcrum variants.
Yeah, it's against modern Fulcrums. Like, it's, they're scary. Hypersonic missiles are scary.
Well, that's the fun part of the Meteor. It's not even hypersonic.
Yeah,
it just chills.
Goes.
And then turns on.
Yeah.
Then just whacks you at 2,000 knots.
Also, apparently Eurofighter was originally designed with voice commands in mind in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
So apparently the version we get in DCS might have kind of an awkward cockpit layout because it kind of relied on voice commands at first. I think they kind of eventually kind of scrapped that or made it better. I'm not kind of too knowledgeable about the Eurofighter. Haven't really come across it that much, like, in my short time of being into aviation. But it certainly is an interesting plane.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll learn a lot about it in the future.
So I guess that brings us to the last part of that question. What is your favorite modern aircraft? Because we stopped at late Cold War.
The F-22 is cool. I don't like the F-35.
Lame.
Is the Gripen considered modern?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
What?
No.
What do you mean no? Mika?
It's 4th gen.
I think the Gripen's a cool looking plane. I think the Eurofighter... I mean, okay, I will say this. The Gripen and the Eurofighter kind of look the same. Like, most European planes look the same in modern times. They have similar capabilities. I like the Gripen, though. It's got character. I kind of like how the intakes look. It's very, like, a weird... It's like a cool shape. I vibe with the shape of a Gripen. The Eurofighter is cool, though. The fucking Rafale, the fucking French thing, that's also kind of cool, but it's French, so I can never say that's, like, cool, so it's not cool. French cannot be cool. The F-22 is pretty cool looking. I'm gonna go with Gripen because of how small it is. I think it's small and cute.
And Joe the Bird, despite it being Tranche 1, they already confirmed that it will get the Meteor, not in the first, like, they will get it in a, like, not immediately when the add-on comes out, but they'll put it in an update after it comes out, despite it not being available on Tranche 1 models. It's the same deal with the Tornado that's coming out. It wouldn't have been equipped with harms at the time, but the one we will get will have harms.
We're getting a super early Tornado without, like, the Atessa upgrade or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
it's still going to be fun. The Tornado is going to require 2 people because the backseat kind of does everything. Like, they're also, like, the navigator. They just do everything in the back.
Yeah.
Like, you require 2 people. I don't think there's going to be an AI to cut it for that. Have you seen the backseat of a tornado?
Yes, Hex showed me it a few times.
Yeah,
both the
it
modern
looks
and
scary. It looks overwhelmingly scary.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, no, favorite modern plane? Probably the Gripen because of how small and cute it is.
That's a vibe.
And speaking
Now,
of... What?
are you going to ask me about planes I hate, or should I also talk about those?
I was segueing into that. So speaking of planes that I hate, what is your least favorite airplane?
Can I go by era?
Yeah, you can go by
Or
era
Or
if
just,
you want.
I'll go by era or just list a few. I hate the Spitfire.
Based.
I like the Hurricane more.
Based.
I just don't like the Spitfire. I think people fan over it a bit too much. I mean, yeah, it's cool, it turns, but it's whatever. Hurricane is cooler. So's the Mosquito. I like the Mosquito too, the Viewfighter. Those are cool. Yeah. Not a fan of the Spitfire.
All right, how about early jet?
Probably something... Let me have a look. Let me make sure I get this right.
It doesn't have to be perfect for era and whatnot. It could just be roughly.
I had an idea, but I'm actually have changed the idea for the MiG-9. I think the MiG-9 is stupid. I don't like it. Yeah, I just don't like it. I'm also not the biggest fan of the 262. I just kind of think it looks ugly. It was cool though. It's cool, I guess. I mean, you know, being like one of the first jet fighters, it's cool. But I think it's ugly. Not a big fan of the 262. I guess it's time for Cold War. Who am I gonna piss off today with this opinion?
Yeah.
I hate the Vigan. I think it's fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah, it's like identical to what Airshow said last week.
No, like, I objectively hate the Vigan. Lots of people love the Vigan. And I'm like, okay, it's cool in theory. But the version in DCS we have is a mid-90s modification. If you put it against other mid-90s planes, it gets slapped.
Yeah, it really... That's one thing I really noticed with it when I was learning it.
The Draken was cooler, yeah. The Draken is a way cooler plane than the Vigan. I like the Draken. That's actually something I forgot. The Draken is also probably one of my most favorite planes. It's just fun. It looks cool.
There
But
goes
no, the Vigan I don't like. I personally believe that the Vigan didn't... I don't think the Vigan would have done well if there was, like, an actual, like, big conflict.
That's the sense I get learning it. Like, it's really good at very specific things, except...
Yeah.
It only seems to work in DCS because of the limited environment we have.
But the version in DCS also isn't the air-to-air version. It is the I want to blow up that boat version.
Yeah, the air-to-air version probably fared a bit better, but the strike version alone, it's like the idea was you went in fast, you came out fast. You stayed low, you kept off a radar, but I think that's kind of assuming that radar wasn't good enough to see it. I'm pretty sure it could have been spotted on radar, and if you know where it roughly is, you can like guess where it's going and probably intercept it.
Yeah.
It also works on an assumption that there's nothing, there's no coordination to help take it out. Which, I mean, I guess in real life there isn't that coordination in there. But if you're fighting a competent theoretical Russian army, if you've got an observer who can warn ahead 5 minutes warning to your ZSU 23s, that thing is toast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's it actually reminds me what plane was it that was shot down? The F-117, the night.
Oh,
yeah,
there's a Laserbeak video about this.
Oh,
yeah, that's actually, I was reminded of that story recently because I heard about it before and it kind of went into it a bit more.
Yeah, it kind of showed how
they had a
bullshitty their whole story was.
Yeah, they had like a spotter at the airfield the Americans used, and they noticed one night that they sent no F-16s up. So they knew that there was no seed aircraft, and they kind of expected the route of the F-117. So they turned their SA2 or 3 on. Was it an SA2? I think it was an SA2. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think it was.
They turned it on and they managed to capture the Nighthawk and shoot it down.
On a
And the Nighthawk was supposed to be this super stealth plane, but stealth is not everything is made out to be. Stealth helps, but it isn't like an indefeatable bullet. It helps. You use it in coordination with other assets to help, but that's kind of a big one, because a big one's kind of relying on stealth by obscurity, by not being seen. And the second that's broken is kind of it's failed completely.
The problem is the Serbs don't tell that story with all the details. That they've conveniently left out is that they didn't. There was only two. They only got that shot off once the bomb bay door was open.
Yeah,
for the half the second it was open. And that also, they didn't have like a primary track. They only had the primary track on the aircraft, not an actual good track on it. So they just got a ridiculous chunk of luck, and a lack of deploying seed resources and not stopping spies is basically what it was. The airplane was designed and operated exactly how it was designed to operate. So that wasn't Skunkworks' fault. Like that plane was done exactly how it was supposed to.
Yeah.
But they fucked up one little bit.
You know what? I want to add it to my list. The F-117, very cool. Very cool plane.
Please, ED, give.
That'd be like the most boring module to fly.
Oh, yeah, it would.
Well, I'm a Strike Eagle Wizzo, so it'd be like Wizzo.
You fly up, you drop exactly 2 bombs, hit your target, and return.
Dude, you can knock out Flashpoint Levant in 5 minutes with that. You just go straight for the bunker.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, can't find fault with that.
You can speed up Tholosaurus process by like 800%.
Yeah, we've got really fast and efficient at doing Flashpoint Levant. I swear we can speedrun it in like 4 hours at this point.
Yeah, we could. Oh, we should make a charity stream out of that. How quick we beat Flashpoint Levant on our own. Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be rather fun, yeah.
That would be really fun. That's it. Do we have like an idea book somewhere? Do you have like one of those, like an idea book, like a notepad somewhere?
I never write anything down. I just remember everything.
If you
and if I forget,
that's really up bad. A lot now.
If you want to try to do that as a charity stream, I know exactly the event you can do it for. There's the VTuber SummerSlam coming up in late.
Oh yeah,
June?
Also the SA2 that shut it down, they also turned the radar back on one more extra time than we were supposed to be allowed to. And they took that risk because of knowing that there's no seed aircraft around.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's one thing I want to say about DCS. They have there's lots of missions, they have like SAM sites, they never move. Yep. Imagine a mission where the SAM sites like moved and acted more realistically. That'd be super cool.
Me with my dynamic campaign trying to hunt down freaking SA-10s.
Is this Falcon BMS segue again?
Yeah. I mean, exactly what you're asking for is in the game. You can have all that you want except for any other aircraft that isn't the F-16 and F-15C.
I'll add this to the notebook. Beat Flashpoint.
The Falcon BMS means that I'd have to learn something separate. And I just don't want to do that.
It's almost identical. There are 10 different buttons on or 10 different clicks you have to make on startup. And
also the grass doesn't look as good.
Oh yeah.
The DCS procedure generated grass. That's the thing keeping me in DCS. It's definitely the grass.
Yeah. So what you're saying is when 4.38 comes out and we get grass and better terrain and graphics, you'll join.
If they got a remaster up to modern day standards graphically, and
that's
maybe
what it's getting.
Isn't that going to be a more arcadey version though? They said they're cutting back on the simulator aspects of that
in
now,
BMS.
Right? Oh, in the mod?
Yeah.
They're actually updating it?
Yeah, the mod is getting continuous updates.
Okay.
They've been teasing graphics updates for a couple months now.
Maybe eventually I'll try it out just to please you.
Come over to the dark side. We have cookies. Mika? Yeah, it'll make me very happy.
We need to be careful about cookies, Mika. Remember, we only certain types.
I eat chocolate chip cookies all the time. It's fine.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Can we go back? Because I said I hate the vegan, but I also want to piss off another group of people.
Yeah, you still have to do the modern era.
No, I've still got one more Cold War choice.
Oh, okay.
Which I absolutely despise.
We just keep pissing people off. It's good for engagement. We're already up to 40 for
So-
like way more viewers than before, so keep going.
I hate the Flogger. I think the Flogger is a piece of shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a universal opinion.
Yeah. The
Even so much of
Flogger
the Soviets thought it was a piece of shit too.
Me too, yeah. See, okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with playing. I love it because it's just kind of like, it's so weird and shit, which is why I like it. But I also hate it. And I hate people who say that the Flogger is great. It's basically, it's a piece of shit airframe. The only benefit it has is the radar was better than the 21 and it could carry like R24s and maybe 27s. I'm not sure if it ever got the 27s.
I don't think it got to 27.
No, maybe just the R24s
It
then.
was just 24.
Which are a big step up from the R13s and the R3Ss. But I do believe that maybe, I'm not actually too sure about this. Did the MiG-21 ever get the R23s?
I don't know, but I do remember being so much of a piece of
hearing
shit that the
something
Soviet
like
pilots said they wanted to go back to the MiG-21.
Yeah.
Like they actually like had like the meme with like the "oh fuck go back" thing where the guys like mashing the keyboard to press that.
Are you sure they didn't want to go back just so that they could steal the alcohol landing gear fluid and radar
Probably
fluid?
So I get to tell a cool aircraft story here.
Uh-oh.
And there used to be an aggressor squadron who ran out of, I believe, Nevada, and somehow America got their hands on a few MiG-21s and a few MiG-23s, and they actually tested them against the Tomcat, and they found out that the MiG-21 could actually hang with a Tomcat for a few turns, and that the MiG-21 could do some wild maneuver with its flaps to go vertical and actually get the Tomcat every single time. But they also learned that the Flogger was completely a piece of shit. It could go in a straight line, but it could never turn. So the second the Tomcat turned, the Flogger just kind of kept on going.
You'd be surprised. The Flogger can actually pull rates with an F-16, which will let it keep up with a Tomcat at slow speeds, at least. At high speeds,
yeah,
probably
but at any
not.
speed, the Flogger isn't going to turn. It's a brick.
I have many a times made the mistake of letting a Flogger drag me down low and slow and died from it.
Yeah. Well, they had like a whole classification system. I think like class 1 was like turning planes, class 2 was fast planes, and class 3 was like balanced planes or something. There's like 5 classes or planes or something. I kind of forgot exactly what it was. But by sorting planes into classes, it was how you chose to fight that enemy. Like 1 circle, 2 circle, energy fight, or just fucking run away because you're gonna die.
I think it was a similar story, I think, for the MiG-25, where you had, like, given it was a decent platform with the one thing it was designed to do, but we thought, oh man, this must be a super maneuverable, ultra dogfighting, super fast plane. We need to build something to match it. And then we got our beloved child Sharklet, our F-15. And then, we get one flew to Japan, and we realized, wait a minute, this can't do like 99% of the things that we thought it can do. It can just go really fast in a straight line.
So, do you believe that Russia's planes, well, the Soviet Union's planes, do you think they were overstated on purpose to try and make America bankrupt itself by spending a lot of time designing things to beat it? Yeah,
for sure.
But that is like a big theory about it, because it makes sense. I personally subscribe to that theory because it kind of makes sense. It's logical. Because I don't believe that like the engineers over there would actually like lie about that to that degree.
No, they were pretty smart. We did poach quite a few of them. Most notably Igor Sikorsky, who tried to escape before it became the Soviet Union. Kind of did the whole inventing the helicopter thing.
Very important.
Kind of little important piece of history in general. Like, imagine what the world would be like without helicopters. Like, it would be legitimately like a different world if we didn't have helicopters.
Would
somebody else have invented it eventually?
I mean, maybe, yeah, but
probably.
there are people who are alive today who would be dead if helicopters didn't exist.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, any more groups you want to piss off?
Yes. We're moving to the modern era now. I can't think of any more Cold War planes that I hate with a passion off the top of my head. So for modern era, I hate the F-35.
Interesting.
Cancelled.
So
get out of here.
I like the tech. I think the tech is cool, but I think it's ugly. I think it deserves the name Fata Amy as it's given. I fully agree with that name. It looks stupid. Yeah, I just don't like it.
Honestly, hot take here, I like the X-32 more because it looks silly. And it's smiling at you at all times. It's having a jolly time. It's happy. It wants to see you. The F-35 doesn't look happy.
Yeah, the X-32 is, that's the happy boy.
Yeah. Who wouldn't love that?
It still kind of looks ugly, but it's like the cute ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a lovable ugly. Well, the F-35 is kind of just like, I can't like it just based on looks alone. See, I do love the tech. Don't get me wrong. The tech behind it is cool. It's amazing, but I don't like the way it looks.
Oh, see, Riley raises a good point. It's like a dog. It's always heavy seat, and that's why we vibe.
But we already have a plane that does that.
Sure.
You don't need another plane that does that. We've got the A7 and the F8.
Those are also very happy airplanes.
The Crusader? Oh, I forgot to talk about the Crusader. I love that thing.
Yeah, I remember you went absolutely nuts when I took a picture of an A7 that was on the side of the highway when I was coming home from Atlanta and sent it to you.
So, the Crusader, right? It has a cool thing where the wing goes all the way up. Like the wing is like a solid thing across the top. It raises up.
Mm-hmm.
F8 wing. I can Google this. It's so weird. So, the wings completely angle themselves up by 10 degrees, something like that. And it's just so weird looking. It lands on the carrier, almost it's just so weird.
It's genuinely nifty. It's
a
great way to solve the problem.
Also, the radar
it's definitely possible that's what happened.
The early radar it has was kind of cool. It was the last gunfighter, but if you look inside, it has missiles.
Yep.
It had the AIM-9C, which is a really funky missile because the AIM-9s are usually heat seekers, but the AIM-9C based on like a semi-active seeker head on it. It was kind of it's just weird. It's funky. I like it.
I love the damn thing, but man, if you look into the statistics of the thing, it's it never got any. It got hardly any gun kills. So Last Gunfighter is hilarious. And then I think there was all of 5 of them, 5 of the airframes that were not involved in an incident or accident throughout its service history. It was horrible for deck operations, but it's so
French
cool.
Hung on to them until they got the rifle.
Yeah. Oh,
those things lived on for way too long in French service. I can hear the correction coming from X, I think from a mile away. I probably got that wrong, but give it 10 seconds.
Okay, I do want to say this. Naval aviation has got a lot safer, and one thing I do like about the F-18 is that it is safer. Because the Tomcat was still kind of dangerous to land. It was less dangerous than the Phantom or the Crusader, but it's still dangerous. The F-18 is a super safe plane. Now, before people say it, no, the F-18 did not replace the Tomcat. Every single Tomcat squadron got replaced by the Super Hornet, the 2-seater. The normal F-18 had nothing to do with it. They directly transitioned from 2-seater F-14 to 2-seater F-18.
Yeah.
Because they kept the Rios and, the now Wizzos, they kind of got a demotion. Being a Rio is being a CEO, and being a Wizzo is being a Burger King worker.
You are not very nice. That is going from the Tomcat to the Strike Eagle. My suffering level was decreased by 70%. I have fun in the Strike Eagle. You were the
but
fun part of the
desyncs,
Tomcat.
I have to take over.
Yeah, well, now I think we fixed that problem. We probably the next time you use it, it'll work fine. Now that we've made the changes, now my system's much more vulnerable than it
Hopefully.
used to be. But it is what it is. But like the fun part of flying a Tomcat is because you flew the Tomcat with me. That was the reason I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy operating that aircraft in the slightest. It was a pain in the ass.
I like being in the backseat of the F-14. I like pre-planning the mission in the F-14. Because as a backseater, you are the commanding officer of the F-14. So the pilot is your bitch.
I think I think the exact quote from 1 Minute DCS is like to make the pilot like it's just your bottom bitch and does whatever you tell him or her to.
The backseater does the whole mission planning. You type in coordinates. You just tell the pilot, "Hey, go here." Then, "Hey, buddy, go here." "Hey, buddy, I've set the weapons up. Turn it on." "Hey, buddy, bomb this thing." That's what you do.
I think what I can do in the Strike Eagle is just so much more, though, where I can, like, I have so many options. I can plan all kinds of things. I have so many different ways to work with waypoints. The way the targeting pod works, everything, works so...
Well, it's just more modern. It's better technology.
More versatile. It's much easier to operate. If I want to get I can operate the air-to-air radar okay-ish in the Strike Eagle. In the Tomcat, I get lost very easily operating the radar in that airplane.
See, I have great fun with the radar on the F-14. I actually like it a lot. I like messing with it. I barely find anybody who flies it, though. Like, sometimes I just want to sit back and just, like, boop things on the radar.
High key, like, I like the way the Tomcat, like, the control stick works for the Tomcat's radar. But, like, the rest of it is very difficult for me to wrap my head around. But in the Strike Eagle, it's easy for me to understand. The operation's much simpler. So, like, I can play with the Strike Eagle a lot more. I like having the air-to-ground radar in the Strike Eagle. I love the mark point system. I can have more than 3 waypoints. I can set up a whole thing for us to follow.
I think
and then we have the alternate route option.
You can have more waypoints in the F-14. You
change
the waypoint, you edit one. You keep them in your kneeboard.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yes, but in the Strike Eagle, I can put them all in.
In the Phantom, we're going to get like 3 waypoints or 2 waypoints. So you will have to do that. You'll have to write down your waypoints and switch them as you're flying.
That will be definitely an interesting thing we're going to have to adapt to. That will be something. One of the things of all time, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, the Strike Eagle will always...
The FA will lift the rear wheels on carrier landings, yeah. The wings going like that would make the back lift. It's wild. I don't know how anyone survived.
The F-15 will always be the favorite of my metal children, though. The Strike Eagle. I think
I love the F-15.
The Strike Eagle is such a great metal child for us. We really just... I mean, we just have so much fun in the Strike Eagle. We just do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not like there's no panicking like I have in the Tomcat. Like, there's no... I think I know how this works. Surely it'll work the way I thought it worked. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Now you can't hit anything with bombs for an hour while we circle, and you just become more and more distressed over time before realizing that I'm freaking out. So you tone it down. So and then eventually
I pretend everything is okay to get you into your element.
Yeah.
Also, another modern plane I hate is the new Boeing passenger planes, because my missiles keep on going for them for some reason. Not sure why.
Which one? Sounds like a pilot
Whichever ones
issue
keep
there.
blowing up.
When was the last time you blew up an airliner?
My lawyers have advised me not to keep this conversation going.
I was never with you at DCS when you blew up an airliner. When did
the last time I did, I gunned it down. I'm pretty sure I went guns.
So that's not even Boeing's fault then. That you did that on purpose. If you gunned an airliner.
Joe, our lawyers are informing us that we need to drop this line of topic and move on to the next question.
Dogs. What are they gonna do?
We can move to the next question.
We are bound by the law. We're dogs and a shark.
I wouldn't put that to the test.
You could just bite the prosecutor. It's fine.
I think that's assault.
That's one way to get put down. That's like death penalty.
You're a shark. What are they gonna do?
You're mortal. You shoot me, I'm gonna die.
What are they gonna? All you gotta do is like go in the water, then they can't shoot you anymore. Oh, yeah, that part about you.
Yeah, she can't swim.
Not being able to do shark stuff.
Also, Olazol has just said 2 dogs and a shark sounds like a show all on its own.
Oh, that would maybe.
It'd be a
It's
difficult
like
put that
time.
2.5 men, but 2.5 shark.
Well,
What,
let me put
2.5
that one on
dogs?
the sticky note. You know, we'll stick with one show for now, but maybe we'll get a
Yeah.
we'll do a late night like unhinged show.
No, why
So I
not?
think
I'd
if we
like to be down for that.
if we ever had like a thing where we could really kind of like not have any restrictions, like a a script or being productive or following Twitch TOS. Well, maybe we'll follow Twitch TOS, but like if we had one where we didn't have to stick to a structure, I think we could have a
Yeah.
whack shit.
No, we'll just
audiences
stream
like.
on that website that starts with an F
Huh?
and it rhymes with Ansley.
Mika, I'm not a whore.
I mean, you don't have to be lewd on that site.
Mika.
What?
That's
I
like-
don't
like
want to talk
only-
here. I don't think I'm legally
we can't
allowed
do
to talk
that.
about this stuff on stream.
That's a good question. Actually. I don't know
As
if we are
a
or
Twitch
not.
partner, I cannot talk about or promote other services, so I have to sit here.
Yeah, that's fair
We
enough.
should move
Yeah,
on
no,
to my next question.
we
Yeah.
are not lewd tubers, and we never will be lewd tubers.
Oh, I'm not.
No,
Hey
you're
guys,
not.
check out
You're
my
a normal tuber.
OnlyFans.
No, I won't go there. Never mind.
Okay.
You
Hit
can't
with the
do
next
that.
question. We've been stalled for way too long.
Joe, you're trying to transition to the next subject, and it's your subject here, man.
Yes. What is your favorite era of flight, Ms. Sharklet?
My favorite era of flight?
Yeah.
Like what I enjoy or what I think is the coolest?
Yes.
Yes, that answers my question. So, I love flying in the Cold War era because, quite frankly, combat is more simple. You get to merge more, and gun kills actually happen. Modern era is a bit boring. It's like goofy BVR combat, funny, hilarious, and I'm just sleeping. I like the Cold War because you have your long range Fox 1s. I guess the Tomcat technically has Fox 3s or Phoenixes, but are they really Fox 3s? I mean, it's like a massive asterisk. Like, yes, in a certain mode. Not all the time, because the Phoenixes in single target track are basically a Fox 1. They never go active. In track while scan, they will go active when the message is sent from the host, which, yeah, on the seas they went active whenever, like, they lost contact with the host when not fired in STT. But it's technically the AIM-54 is like only half a Fox 3. But I do like the Cold War. Lots of guns. The ground shit isn't too overpowered. It's relatively relaxed in terms of like planes. I think World War II is really cool though. I do like, like 109s, like dogfighting, Pocket Wolves. I think World War II is really cool.
I think if you went on the Microsoft site, you might have an enjoyment of some of the older airliners or like steam gauge general aviation planes. I think you would genuinely enjoy that a lot. Or flying the
Maybe it's
Antonovs, like the big
Yeah.
cargo ones, because they are
Yeah.
like still all steam gaugey. And then there's this one tiny little GPS panel in it.
Actually, I remember a story about an Antonov. There was an airport with a single passageway to the west leading out. And an Antonov used a different like measuring system where they had to manually like convert the maps. And they got it wrong, so it was like a mid-air collision or something. And sadly the plane was lost. And the
Yeah,
other plane was lost, yeah.
I don't think it was a 124 or a 225 because those were mostly operated post-Soviet. So those.
It was an Antonov, I believe, of some sort.
They made a lot of different planes though. They the 225 from Microsoft. I think you might enjoy this one. It's cheap. It's only like $15, but it's like half of it goes to charity. Charities in Ukraine, so it's pretty nifty that they did that. And they got like a lot of the flight crews for the Antonov 225 to come on and like do like interviews with the devs that like where they talk about how they operate the plane so you can learn it too. And it's a little tough to understand the accents, but it's like once you get through it, it's like it's really cool and it's very fascinating. had the pleasure of meeting some Antonov flight crews myself, because they fly to my local airport to drop off satellites and things like that. And sometimes they would come visit my old uni, because they're cool like that. And there were some of the things they would talk about that they would fly inside of those things was just mind blowing. Trains, helicopters, which it isn't impressive to realize they're like shelling helicopters across oceans, wind turbines, entire semi trucks. If it can fit inside of a gigantic object, it fits.
Yeah, I know.
They've taken.
I know there was a big incident where specifically the 225 was needed. A couple years back, Ford had their biggest die-cast part supplier burned down, and they supplied like all of the die-cast parts for the F-150, and it was going to become a production stopping incident. Like, shut down the production line, we can't make any more vehicles because we can't get die-cast parts for it. Well, they were flipping out going, what the hell are we going to do? There's no other die-cast part supplier able to supply the volumes we need in North America. What do we do? And then eventually they find one in Europe. And they go, okay, so this one in Europe exists, and, well, we need to move the tooling over because we can't afford to make, like, we don't have time to make new tooling. We need to send the tooling over. And the tooling they had was so big and heavy, it could only be flown on the 225. And that supplier was the only supplier with a press big enough to fit this tooling. So they had to get the 225 in and put the tooling from the burned down building on it and send it back over. And it was a huge, hairy deal.
I imagine Antonov Airlines rather got paid quite well for that.
Yes, quite a handsome emergency last minute fee, because it was like less than a week between when the place burned down. It was actually but as soon as the fires were out, they pulled the tooling out of the building and then put it on the plane, because die-cast part supplier, fire burns for days.
That sounds fiery.
Yeah. And
that's
speaking. Oh, go ahead.
Sadly, there's a silver lining to the 225 story, though, because apparently there's still an intact shell somewhere.
There's one more.
The parts for the second one.
So it may fly again one day, hopefully.
The plan is to, after the war, to have 2 operating ones. They will finish that one and then build at least one more after, due to high demand for the airframe. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
But for now,
well.
you can have the
Antonov
Antonov 225 in Microsoft Flight Simulator and try it yourself. It's really hard to fly. I don't understand how to operate it, but you are smart enough to fly it. And then Mika could probably also operate it too, but not me.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know
faith in yourself.
Russian.
Okay. I believe I answered the last question. Should we segue on to the next one?
Yeah,
I think so.
So the next question we have for you is, what are your favorite kind of scenarios to fly in flight simulators?
I like torturing my friends.
I can tell.
Right, because you made that. You want to talk about some of those really unique scenarios you designed to torture your friends with?
Let me talk about a normal scenario earlier today. So, I took one of my friends, and I sat in the backseat of an F-15, and I forced him to learn how to air-to-air refuel.
Oh no.
Who'd you do that to?
Frank.
Oh my guy.
So, I kind of fucked him over. You know the meme, like the HR meme, where it's like, looking good, Susan?
Yeah.
The second he got it in, I went, looking good, Susan, and he almost crashed into the back of a tanker.
Oh, no.
And then I took over, and I was flying it from the backseat, and I managed to like fucking connect it and like keep it there for like a few minutes from the backseat. In a turn, it was honestly the worst experience I've ever had. Because from the backseat, you kind of can't see your speed. You have to look down for your speed. So I eventually just stared at the fucking tanker, just kind of like flew completely visual, and it was completely just a pain.
Well, you're not supposed to be looking at your speed, because especially in DCS, where it models the differences in indicated speeds for aircraft, the tanker can be going exactly 300 indicated on its sensor or on its pitot tube. But with the F-16, exactly it's at like... on the F-16, it registers as like 310.
Yeah.
Because every aircraft has a different...
I knew the speed, so I got close using like the gauge as a reference on the hood cam, but then I kind of just had to go fully visual. And believe me, there is literally like... When you're sat in the back, there is not a single good reference point for where the fuck you should be.
No, not at all. That's why when we discussed it before,
and the controls are delayed, because there's a little bit of ping. So not only is like your thrust like delayed, like it should be, your movements are also delayed. So it's just a miserable experience.
Welcome to the pain of the F-16.
And the fact is, the multi-crew refueling doesn't work. If you're in the backseat and you connect, the fuel will go up but then jump back down the second you disconnect. So I was sat there for like several minutes. The second I hopped off, that fuel just vanished. Isn't DCS great?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think when we discussed it, I think 1 or 2 missions ago, I think we decided like, well, like if we actually had to refuel, that I would just be like eyeballs for you while you flew, because that would be like easy, because I could just look straight at the thing the entire time.
Because I don't use head tracking, because I don't like track IR too much. It works sometimes, but I don't like it. And now that I have a bigger monitor, I can't really fit track IR anywhere right now. But if I did use it, it'd be really limited movement, but I don't right now. And yeah, it's just getting into position, which actually isn't a problem, because I can now see the lights on this bigger screen, so it's not that big of an issue. So it's fine. But yeah, F-15 Strike Eagle, refueling from the back is fun, but also pain, and completely pointless because you can't actually take fuel. I wonder who else has done that. Like, who has ever chosen to refuel it from the back?
Only people as crazy as yourself.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, I've never seen anybody do this for us, and we're just gonna go try it out and see what happens. So, I did. It was a time of all time. But yeah, no, I spent 2 hours just torturing Frank. He was following the fucking tanker for so long. He got way better at formation flying, but he's not quite yet there to, like, refuel. He'll get it eventually. But yeah, I also like to fuck with friends with a hilltop carrier. So I put a carrier on top of a mountain. So you have to carrier land at 10,000 feet. Which means that your stall speed is very close to your landing speed. Which isn't great. It's kind of a challenge. It's not too hard once you get the hang of it, but it is kind of a challenge. And I also like doing the wind thing. Where I said the wind's like 400 knots, so you could just kind of like fly with afterburner and stay stationary. Dogfighting in that was pretty cool. I managed to torture Sarge by doing that quite a few times. But towards a more serious side, I like flying seed flights on the F-16. It's pretty calm and it's pretty relaxing. You kind of just have things boop you kind of lock it, you kind of raise altitude, you get shot at, you fire the harm, you turn around. You try to stay locked while also keeping the missile away from you, and hopefully the thing blows up. It's pretty relaxing. It's also relatively safe if you like do it correctly.
Yep.
I like my anti-ship missions. Anti-ship missions in the F-14 were real super cool, especially at night. It's super relaxing. I've started to like the Strike Eagle a lot for anti-shipping because the radar is a bit cheaty on the ocean. You get no feedback from the ocean.
Amazing.
So it's super visible. Yeah. It's just really fun anti-shipping. Small strikes. I used to be like a cap only player, but I got a bit tired of cap because depending on the plane you're flying, the outcome is mostly decided by the second you enter the merge. It's like, oh well, my plane just turns better, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So
I
kind of
felt
got a bit bored of Cap because of that.
that strike missions always feel more rewarding to me.
There's
Given
also
I'm biased by weapon systems officer brain, but
there's also more visual input. Like you actually see what you kill all the
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah.
you drop a bomb, you see it, boom, explosion.
Yep,
Happy
yeah.
feelings from brain. I see explosion, I'm happy.
Whereas
Whereas
Splash
if you're
damage,
fighting
no bird.
BVR, wow, Dot disappeared, he's dead.
Yeah.
Cool.
Plus, I think it's more fun that you like in a strike mission. At least if if it's a 2-seater, you're working in a team in a rewarding way, where you work together. Even if it's like a mixed mission where you might be fighting. I mean, I drop this example all the time, but like you're fighting something in the air while I'm working on something on the ground at the same time.
Yeah, because you can still look around on the ground while I'm doing shit. Because mostly you're going in straight lines anyway, so it's not really too different. Just like, oh, we're gonna go evasive now. Just fucking turn and you can't do anything while it's happening.
But
yeah,
I think that was like the coolest thing I've done in DCS in general was operating.
You were surveying and I just shot down a Tomcat.
Doing reconnaissance while you were actively engaging a Tomcat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's optimization at its finest for multi-crew. But I will say
CRM at its finest.
Yeah. I do enjoy multi-crewing with a Strike Eagle, even though it's not needed. That plane can completely be done with a single seat. I do enjoy it. Gives me someone to talk to. It's just cooler.
We give viewers funny content. Like it's great.
Yeah,
you get to enjoy your virtual imaginary snacks. It's great.
Yeah, it does make for good streams. I do really enjoy it because if I'm on my own, I then have to do over waypoints, which means there's more time when I cannot be talking or doing something fun. Because waypoints like, oh, I'm typing these numbers in now. It's like, yeah, cool, wow, and then everyone falls asleep because it's boring. Because numbers are kind of boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this was a massive segue from asking me my favorite era. So I'd say Cold War's my favorite. I also like World War II. Yeah.
No, we were asking you what your favorite scenarios were.
Oh, my scenario. Oh, okay.
It was perfect. It was all
I went too far back.
You went in the circle. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm like cosplaying a dog running in circles now, chasing my tail.
Literally, Ocean Dog.
So yeah, strikes. I'm more like a strike type of mood recently. I'll probably go back to Cap eventually though, like a cycle.
When you don't have Age Over to use, you return to Cap, I guess.
I'll still be doing strike when you're not here next week because I kind of just want to bomb things.
So I guess that brings us to our next one.
Yeah, next question.
All right, there's a specific rule at the end of the question, so wait until I'm done before answering. What upcoming flight sim update or module are you looking forward to? You're not allowed to say the F4.
So, module or updates? Can this be an update to an existing module as well?
Of course.
So, they're adding the TARPS pod to the F-14. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
It's a reconnaissance pod.
Right? Yeah, reconnaissance pod, yeah. So, at first, it's just going to be like a prop. It's going to be useless. But after the tornado, they actually want to give it like a function, which I think is cool. See, I like the TARPS pod. It's like, hey, we shoved a camera on your plane. Go look at this thing and give us a picture. And the Tomcat and TARPS kind of goes together. There was the squadron, or whatever you call it. They were called Peeping Tom, which is kind of a on-the-nose name, you know. It's
Yeah.
But they did recon in the F-14. So he went out, took pictures, went and landed, took the roll of tape to the lab, and then they dealt with it. Then they looked at it and saw what was out there. And I think that's really cool.
That does
sound fun. I think recon ops are really cool as a change of pace, because DCS is always about blowing stuff up or like fighting. Why can't I just go take some pretty pictures?
That was a relaxing little trip that we took. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, to Dubai?
Not the other one. The recon one was fun too. Dubai was fun.
The recon was cool as well.
We promised. Actually, we stayed in Dubai. We went nowhere else after that.
We went under a bridge and blew up.
Yeah, we died.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I think I'm excited for the TARPS, even if it's just gonna be like something basic or just like a prop. Like I love to just fly over things. It'd be cool.
It would be cool.
I'm also looking forward to a polar map. I guess that's technically a module. It's just gonna be green. It's different. It's very different.
Green. Fuck
wow,
Tam.
We're going green.
You guys don't like flying over endless desert?
No. Actually, Afghanistan should be fairly green too. They have a lot of green
Fiber
there.
River. There's like one big green patch by the river. Apart from that, it's just sand.
Then there's all the mountainous, foresty areas too, the pistachio forest, things like that.
But yeah, no, sand a bit boring. Green is cool.
More green.
I'm kind of looking forward to the tornado just because I kind of want to sit in like the back seat there and like learn a bit of that. It's a cool plane.
Until I put you in the front seat because I like back seat.
But yeah, I want to try the back seat first. So
or we reverse ourselves in the tornado maybe.
Dun dun dun.
Unless I don't think I'll be getting into any BFM or anything in that. So
yeah, okay.
We'd be having a really bad day if that happens.
I quickly need to go use the bathroom.
Okay, yeah, we'll wait for it.
Okay, look, I'm a YouTuber. I gotta live up to my name. I gotta pee once a stream. I will be back in like a minute.
We got so close to like no PT behavior. We went 3 weeks.
We only had 2 more questions.
We went 2 weeks plus a 3-hour stream into then I think we probably would take some stuff from the. I mean, it would take us another hour to get through those 2 questions anyway. So
yeah. I was sitting here. I was not gonna push to speed up because when we got to the questions, I was like, "Oh, we've got an hour. This should be enough time." We got halfway through the questions, and I was like, "Okay, so we're at 2 hours. I think we can get through the questions by 1:30. That's fine." And here we are at 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep going until it stops being fun. It's. I mean, I assume the audience might have questions too. So we'll see where it goes. This is a further development of a unconstrained guest segment.
Yeah, and after the last episode, I don't see any good reason to cut the time limited necessarily, as long as we've got content.
Yeah. She just keeps yapping, says Airshow.
Oh yeah, she's great at talking. She's demonstrating why she is such a popular streamer at this point.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of SharklettVT, where I'll sit there in silence for 2 hours.
Yeah.
While this little bit of music plays in the background. There is this is. I thought we were going to go way more off the rails into unhinged, crazy territory than we did. We did not get quite there. We kept it within bounds.
I know we asked her to be normal, but she's not actually being normal. She's acting way too polite.
Yeah, I mean, she probably hears us right now. But odds are she probably has a headset on. She most guaranteed hears us, and she's gonna crank it up to a 15 as soon as she gets back. She'll pick one of us to target, probably me, and then I will get bullied for my hubris or whatever.
And she never bullies me. I don't get it.
No, because I mean, I'm really easy to bully. That's the thing. I have a few pockets to get her to stop if it becomes a little too much, or I can just turn it back around. I think I
have returned.
Welcome back.
I have returned on
I hope it wasn't too long. Hello, SharklettVT. How are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking.
Okay.
Maybe she didn't hear all that.
All right. I guess you are ready for our penultimate question, and personally, my favorite question I have stolen from ChatGPT.
Okay.
Sharklet, what is an insult that you've received that you are proud of?
I don't think I'm allowed to say any of them on Twitch.
Okay, do you have any that have no racial slurs in them?
I mean, you can just be vague with what it is.
Okay, I'll tell you the latest insult I got. It's kind of a funny story, so... I was playing Tarkov. I was on the streets at night, I see a man in front of me. He yells, "Please don't, please stop," in broken English as I dome him to the head. I've been checking his corpse. He had like 6 quest items. I've been messaging him in game to say sorry, and he says "fuck you." He's like angry. And then like he went to the whole pleading, like I had like 6 quest items. Then he got really sad. Then he got acceptance, and then blocked me. This man went through the 5 stages of fucking grief in the Tarkov DM systems to me, before blocking me and never being heard of again.
Interesting. I'm not sure if that qualifies an insult.
Well, he said "fuck you." That's kind of an insult.
Okay, that part's an insult. Yeah, I think like the rest is just like a I don't know, maybe a traumatic experience for him.
I don't know. People don't really. I don't really get many insults.
I mean,
Like
do you have
ever
a
since I
favorite?
stopped.
Like what you found like funny?
All my past insults are. I don't really think I have one that is socially acceptable.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of creative ones with very bad words where, like, it's like, that's really bad, but wow, sure. But, like, I don't know. I've got nothing off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
And I want to admit that I'm not a big fish. I'm actually a shark.
What, did somebody make an accusation? Nobody made an accusation
No,
in chat.
I'm just saying, you know, because you're talking about
Just,
insults,
okay, so
so
you're
I
just-
thought I'd
you're
just
just
bring up,
preparing
the
it.
whole, like, big fish thing,
I had
because,
to
you know,
say-
I'm not a big
She
fish,
did
you
get
know,
called a
like,
big fish a while
I'm clearly
back.
a shark.
And
Oh,
noseless.
okay.
I'm clearly a shark. But yeah, no, I don't really have any fun insults.
So-
Although, I have a lot of weird social experiences online with random people in random games.
yeah, you seem the type of person that would have a lot of those.
Well, for some reason unknown to me, if I play video games and I ever use a VoIP system, people are very friendly. Sometimes a bit too friendly. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's never really understood that one. Never like at all understood what they're hoping to achieve by that.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't really
So-
have any insults.
You mentioned before that you have you have plush sharks. I assume there's a lot more than just one now.
Okay, let me do you a solid. Let me actually. I've got names for all of them apart from 2.
Oh no.
Well, I'm more asking how many there are.
How many? Okay, we have Nibbles. We have Niblet, which is the small one. Now I have the big one, which is unnamed. I still haven't got a name for him. I just call him like the big one right now. Then I have Pancake, who arrived to me in like a vacuum sealed package, so that's why it's called Pancake. And then I have another small one I haven't named yet. And then I
Alright.
have the big cat shark, which I called Sam to annoy one of my streamer friends. And I have 3 buff sharks, which they don't even have a name. I haven't named them yet. I need names! But no, I have like
9.
1, 2, 3.
So
I have 5 blahas of different sizes. I have 3 muscle sharks, 1 massive cat shark thing. So that's quite a lot of sharks.
I think I counted 9 sharks. That's a lot of
Yeah.
sharks.
That's a lot
So
of sharks.
that's a lot
do
of
you consider them
sharks.
like your children, or like how do you think of your sharks?
I treat them with mutual respect.
Ah, okay, all right, fair
Yeah.
enough. So you're
Kinda like-
equals.
kinda equals.
They're kind of
Yeah,
like
I'm
roommates.
equals.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, almost like roommates, yeah. They
Interesting.
occupy all the space in my bed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you have space if they occupy all the space?
Maybe
do the
that
sharks
explains why I'm not
become the
sleeping
bed?
well.
That might make. Are the sharks the bed now?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
It just sharks everywhere whenever I'm
that-
trying to sleep.
That adds up. I mean, it seems like the environment you would enjoy. Like you would want to be around other sharks, I would assume. So you can talk about shark things or whatever you sharks do.
Yeah, whatever sharks do, yeah. Well, we kind of
Yeah.
just, like, swim. Yeah, we just swim. We basically just swim, honestly.
Wait. How? I thought you.
In the bed covers, it's like different swimming. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So it's like swimming in air. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair
Okay,
enough.
Okay.
You also might want to re-choose better wording for that next time you make that kind of answer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do do we have? Well, I think of something else. Another question for now.
If you have any more questions, go ahead. Hey,
Yeah.
chat. Do you guys have questions?
Yeah.
You can ask me anything. I will answer almost everything. You can answer the cool story if I have one. So ask whatever you want.
Oh no.
Anything at all.
I would like to add to this chat that before we started streaming a couple days ago for this, Sharklet said to me that quote, I can ask her anything, end quote, and quote, I have no limits, end quote.
Yeah. I generally do not have. Okay, if it's an interesting story, it's cool. I love telling things. And why noseless? What's your nose?
I will never understand this noseless thing.
They believe I have no nose.
Because the nose on her model is just like a dot.
I mean, like, that's how all VTuber noses are. Like, just look at mine.
Yeah.
It's only a slightly different
But
color line.
you have like a line, but like she just has
Shading.
like literally it looks like you just took a marker and just like poked it.
I think I smell pretty good. I actually smell the berries today. Specifically blueberries.
The other question is, what's your favorite marker to draw your nose with?
How many shoots whoever did that?
That was Mr. Creepy.
Mika, am I legally allowed to shoot that man?
Are you a mod?
Yeah, that means time him out for like 8 seconds or something. Can I do that?
I mean, you have mod privileges. That means I trust you to
Okay.
be a mod.
Bang! He's dead. I shot him! What's my favorite weapons of each type? Ooh, now we're getting into like military, like actual like infantry stuff now. This is where I can talk lots. So my favorite weapon of each type. My favorite pistol. I like the P226. I like the look of it. It's been in Counter-Strike. That's when I first saw it. It looks cool. I like how it looks. My favorite rifle. I'm gonna guess you mean like rifle in general, like assault rifle, battle rifle. I'm gonna say the G3. The G3 is my favorite battle rifle. It's cool. It's sturdy. It looks nice. It's really heavy. It separates the weak from the strong. It fires 308, which is God's caliber. It's a cool gun. The aperture sights aren't too bad either. And if you like weld a rail to the top, I mean it's pretty alright, I guess. My favorite machine gun, I'm probably gonna be very basic here. Oh, I'm a basic bitch. I kind of like the M249. It just kind of works. It kind of just works. It's like belt fed. It just kind of, it's just a machine gun. It just works. The iron sights are usable. It's cool. I like it. My favorite shotgun. I really like the Saiga, like the 12 gauge Saiga. I think it's just funky. I think it's really cool. My favorite SMG would have to be either an MP5 with a flashlight handguard, or maybe the P90. I do like the P90 a lot. I also like the AR-57, but it's completely like it's niche and it's kind of firing a pistol cartridge out of like a rifle isn't really like all that great for like performance. But it ejects bullets out of the magwell of the AR-15, so that's kind of cool. That's a cool feature of it. And can the P266 pass the drop test? I'm actually pretty sure it can. I'm pretty certain it can. Did I miss any type of weapons?
Your favorite man pad?
None of them. I hate all those guys.
Oh. Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah, they must have the highest KD in like DCS, like absolutely insane. I've seen a single guy shoot down like 8 planes at Hatay like in a row. It's insane.
I don't think I've ever been struck by a man pad in DCS, but I like exclusively
On
fly
Flashpoint,
combat.
there's usually one hidden at the end of a runway. Like you just assume he's dead, and you just like get hit. You're like, huh, what was that? AT launcher. I don't know. Any Carl Gustav, I guess? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. They all kind of get the job done. I guess I guess my favorite knife would be like an M9 bayonet. Kind of chunky, kind of cool. I like it. It's big and thick. And the AR-57 is a weird thing you love it. Yeah, I love the AR-57. It's just funky. It's not really that useful, but it's funky. But yeah, any other questions?
I've got one. So earlier you mentioned that before planes you were into tanks. Can I ask you what your favorite World War II tank is, and then your favorite modern tank?
Okay. Do you count the Centurion as a World War II tank?
I think it's close enough.
It's 1945.
I think it's close enough.
Yeah, well, it's still World War II tech. So the first Centurion had a 20mm like fucking gun in the turret, like a secondary, which was then replaced by a machine gun. It's probably the first British tank of that era to not abide by the size restrictions of the railways, because the Cromwell and the Comet's a longer Cromwell, and they were like a very awkward size because they had to be like moved around on trains. See, the Centurion wasn't held back by that restriction. And in my opinion, the Centurion looks like a modern day MBT. It's got the same like general shape, the same general size, the armor layout is generally like similar. I think it was way ahead of its time. So people often say that the Panther was the first like MBT, and it might have technically been by role, but I truly believe that the Centurion was the first actual like MBT like tank, with the armor layout, the general shape and all that stuff, and the general design and the principles of like hold down. So yeah, that's probably, well, my other favorite World War II tank is a Japanese tank that is relatively obscure called the Chiri 2. Now, it has an autoloader and a 37mm gun in the hull. It's kind of like a big box. It's got about as much armor as a cereal box. It's big, it's weird, but it's big because of Japanese like tank design, because they're like an island, so they need gun depression. So the turret being a big box kind of helps to like let the gun point downwards, which they kind of need if you think about it. It's also lightweight because it kind of has to travel like rocky terrain, I guess, so it's lighter, I guess. And I guess maybe they're light because maybe travel by boat was maybe something thought of. I don't know. There's a lot of cool design choices in Japanese tanks. I also like another Japanese tank, but this one's kind of paper. It's called the Hori, and it's kind of like a naval, well, one of the proposed versions was like a naval gun just on wheels. Kind of cool. Not sure if it ever actually existed, because, you know, the Japanese like burnt like all the documents, so we don't know like anything about it. So it could be like, who knows? Silent Dev said we're skipping over Cold War.
That's because I don't care about Cold War tanks.
Well, Cold War, I could just say Centurion again, because they're different marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Centurion's cool. I even like the modern day Israeli, well, the more modern Israeli Centurions, like the Shodal Kalet, which is kind of like the penultimate Centurion. They had like laser ERA, which is like super early ERA, just like slabs of it. It's just basically bolted on. It's kind of cool looking. It looks like heavy. I think it had a 120mm gun added. I think it has a fuck-off amount of machine guns on it as well, by default. I believe it translates into the whip or something in, like, Israel. So, it's kind of a cool tank overall. What else in the Cold War? I kind of like the early Leopards. They're pretty funky looking. They're kind of cool, though. I also, let's jump to modern. I could be here all day. I don't want to go list out all the tanks. Modern tanks. I kind of like the Vickers turret on the Leo body. I think it's the Vickers, like, Mark 9. It's basically a Leopard, 1A4, like, hull with, like, a British turret on top. Now, I don't believe that turret has, like, any form of like modern protection. It was kind of like a prototype. It's kind of cool looking. It's fast like a leopard. The turret is really big and looks cool, but that's about it. Don't think like it ever really got anywhere. I kind of like the Challenger, although the one tank game I play, the Challenger's kind of bad because they kind of modeled it a bit wrong. They kind of don't do like the whole regenerative like steering thing or like anything like that. So it's kind of a struggle bus. I kind of like the Type 10. I think it is the modern Japanese tank. I believe that's kind of a cool tank. It's kind of very lightly armored, very fast. It's very Japanese. Let's see. It's about all I can think of off the top of my head right now. I also like the Chieftain. Chieftain's kind of cool. It's a really weird shaped tank, but I kind of like it. I think I'm gonna leave tanks there because if I keep on going, I could go on for like a bit too long. I haven't even talked about American tanks yet. That's kind of like it's a whole like other topic. But yeah, that's enough tanks. Any more questions?
Talk tanks sometime.
Yeah. Is that the super tank story in War Thunder, the Hori? Yeah, the Hori in War Thunder is technically two made-up tanks. So the Hori prototype and the Hori production in War Thunder, they're both paper. I don't think any of those existed, and for some reason the Hori production has like 1,000 horsepower, which is just completely unrealistic. But yeah.
Joe,
Maybe
did you have something?
mobile AA platform. Oh my god. I hate all of them. They always try to shoot me down.
So true. Especially that fucking truck on the 1979 mission we did.
Okay, my favorite mobile AA platform is that ZSU on the truck.
Ah.
Oh boy.
It's apparently more accurate than a radar guided AA. That one specific truck is the favorite. It's just
That
so
thing
effective.
shot straight through my Rio seat and killed me, so I couldn't punch out with you.
Yeah. First shot.
First shot. Literally just blew a hole straight through your pet dog, ATF style.
Yeah. And of course I don't stop talking. Look, if like I could talk for hours. I talked for 19 hours before without stopping. Like, I can talk about things I love about. And we're only like touching the surface of like all the topics I like. Like I could go for days. I could go for days. So any more questions?
Yeah, hold on. I got one from Lunchtime Media. Cooking stream when, cosplay stream when, cosplay cooking stream when.
Cosplay stream kind of difficult. It'll more likely just like if I ever choose to cosplay one day, there might just be like some video media or something like that you'll get to see. Because kind of doing a whole stream about cosplay wouldn't really work.
Yeah,
and
kind of go against the whole VTuber part, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna happen one day because I'm kind of like a regular like airsofting and stuff like that. So it's a matter of time. I've accepted that. I've long accepted that. Hell, lots of people already know what I look like. It's like a open secret at this point. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah. The Exon asks, when will you... Hold on, let me see exactly what the wording was on this one. Why didn't you pay for your sins yet?
One day I will meet my maker, and I'm sure I'll pay for them then.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yep.
Let's see. Does the audience have anything else? Favorite camo pattern? That was one that was asked you by Matilda.
So this one is a very biased question because due to real life experiences, I am a fan of Estonian digital camouflage. It is extremely niche. It looks a lot like CatPat. If you know what CatPat looks like, it kind of looks the same, pretty much, at a distance. So, yeah. I like it due to personal reasons and experiences. But for all intents and purposes, just think of CatPat, and you kind of have the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And chat, you just keep throwing questions at us. We'll keep passing them on. But
Yeah, if you want to keep on asking questions, ask them.
Literally
Otherwise,
ask
you know.
whatever you like. I mean, just keep going.
Oh no.
Do you want more tuba for a Weezer photo?
That would be interesting. I wonder who they would add the fourth to be.
The cooking stream question. Look, cooking stream. I would need to. It's harder to set up than you think. I'd have to get some sort of stove in my room to do that. Because I
Just do a hot pot
can't use
cooking
the
stream.
kitchen.
It's
Because
easy.
the kitchen. Yeah, but the kitchen's connected to the living room, so the other people in the house, it's undoable.
Yeah, hot pot cooking stream. You get a
I
hot
could do
plate
something
and
in
the
my room.
pot, and then you could just do that in your room.
Flecton, okay. I kind of like Flecton as well. I will say this. I'm secretly, minorly a freedom enjoyer in Stalker. I completely hate the fact that they are friends with the bandits.
There we go.
But I think freedom is a cool faction in Stalker.
We are finally getting questions. Like way more questions. There we go. Fractional asks, Shark, why are you 2 centimeters?
I'm not 2 centimeters.
Fair enough. Old COD or old Battlefield?
So I have to be honest here. The first Battlefield I ever played was Battlefield 3. Just because I was stuck on the PS2 for the longest time. But I did get to play some of the older Call of Duties on my friend's Xbox. I remember playing World at War quite extensively with him. It was pretty fun. Liked the zombie mode, like the campaign mode. Very fun game. Like it a lot.
Very cool.
I also remember the ray gun secret jumping over puddles. I can never forget that. That was such a cool Easter egg.
What is your what's your favorite
Stop.
musical artist?
Ooh, this is a hard one!
Oh no.
Okay.
That means it's going to be a long one.
So, music for me is very interesting. So, my daily playlist on Spotify is like 3,000 songs long. And I just put it on shuffle when I wake up, usually, if I'm using Spotify. But, music genre. That doesn't help. Look, I listen to everything from a tiny bit of country to like classical rap to like techno, hardcore, Italio dance, Italio disco, Eurobeat, rock, metal. Just look, I listen to almost everything. It's really hard to like nail down one of my favorites. So I'm gonna quickly check my YouTube history. I'm gonna see a song I listened to probably last night, and I'll just save that song. Let's have a look. How many those songs here from last night? Apparently I haven't listened to any songs in the last like 5 days on YouTube. I actually don't know what to say here. What do I say as a favorite song right now? I'm actually clueless. You put me on the spot. You put me on the spot.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, but it's hard to choose because there's so many songs. It's like when you ask someone, hey, do you like music? They say yes. It's like, wow, mind blown. I've never heard of someone who likes music before. Like... See, the last song I can find on my YouTube was from like 2 weeks ago, and it was Mob Depp, Shook Ones Part 1. Which is very old gangster rap, which I sometimes listen to.
It's cool.
So yeah, that's apparently the last song I listened to. And before that, apparently I was listening to Elkie Brooks with Fool If You Think It's Over. Which is a massive genre change.
Yeah. It's
yeah. Oh, before that I was listening to ZZ Top.
Just the Tonal Whiplash playlist. Impressive.
Yeah.
So lunchtime. Are you ready for another question?
Yeah, sure. Next question.
Lunchtime Media, he asked, was Airsoft that got you into the tactical shit in the first place, or did you get there from cars somehow?
No, I got to tactical shit because I dated a radio man. Who served in... I dated a radio man who served in his military and then joined a militia, which is why I hold such views on militias. Because of him, he kind of told me about guns and all that stuff, and I even got to like do some stuff with that guy, which kind of goes into shit I can't talk about for another 4 years.
Yeah.
So
We
there's
also
something
did not
statute
like
of
to
limitations.
track the ATF.
I got flown out to like his country and got to do some very cool things. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I actually recently found some pictures from there. So one day I'll be able to show pictures and some very cool stories. But yeah, no, that's how I got into like the military stuff. It was through somebody who served as a radio man, who kind of just taught me, and that's kind of how it went. That's how I gained a massive respect for the military. That's how I did my part, as to say. Won't say too much about that, but yeah, no. That's also why I believe in the militia, because in his country, you go to the military, then he signed over to the local militia. And it would be their job to defend if, like, Russia ever invaded, because that's, like, the main threat. But I do think militias are good. Because, you know, they get to serve their community as well, they get to deal with stuff, they actually, like, hold events as well. It's kind of a bit like church. Like, I'm not too big on religion all the time, but church is a community, and I think it does help out. So, you know, militias also help out with that. So, yeah, through dating somebody, that's how I got here. That's how I got to that. And then get it from Cars. Technically, I met the guy because of Cars. Because, you know, Eastern Europe, so kind of, like, it's like Eastern Europe countries, fans of rallying, all, like, Fords, like, Cosworths. Like, Cosworth was, like, his dream car. I love a Cosworth. Cool little, fast little shitbox. Is it even a shitbox? It might still be classed as a shitbox.
They still build a lot of cool stuff as a company.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the electronic control systems for the IMSA LMDH cars and for Indy cars, electronic controls are made by Cosworth still. And the steering wheels.
Oh. Yeah, would you like to drive this? Yeah, because, I don't know, just an Eastern European thing, you know. Actually, that's something I will talk about. I don't know why, but if you're in Norway or east of Norway, for some reason I vibe with people from those countries just really well. Like, I can sit down and just talk for hours, like, instantly, comfortably with almost anybody from those countries. It's really weird. I think it's the attitude. People are a lot more introverted in those countries, I believe, that, I don't know. I just think I just kind of get on with that. It's really weird. I have no actual solid evidence of why it is, but it just generally ends out really good when I talk to people from there. It's a very nice part of the world that's often, like, overlooked or, like, memed about a bit.
Yeah. So are you ready for some more questions?
Ask me some more questions, go ahead.
Oh, I like this one from Exxon. When will Sharklet abandon the subpar Assetto Corsa for iRacing, and when will we get a VTuber crew at a 24-hour race, including you?
One, I'm pretty sure there's plenty. I know a bunch of racing VTubers already, and I'm pretty sure they do that sometimes.
But they're not you.
And sadly, I can't do iRacing. My track racing days, well, my sim track racing days are long over. I can't get back into it. I like car games for driving. I like unpredictability. I like rally because it's like, it's dangerous. It's cool. It's more unpredictable. I just like driving in general as well. So Assetto Corsa is like the better game for me in that sense, because I get to just like drive on like highways and stuff like that. I get to try out lots of cool cars because there's a massive modding scene. I can like try every single like body kit of this certain car with every single engine configuration ever made. It's great.
Sorry, Exxon. I'll keep trying.
I'm not opposed to iRacing, I just wouldn't enjoy it as much these days. Like, I used to do track racing a bit. I've grown out of it.
Yeah.
I like toge or like highway racing or like rally or stuff like that. Like stuff that is like really fucking tense.
Briley3999 asks any glows. I think that's a bit of a rhetorical one. Have you played any RTS games? If so, what type?
Okay, the glowy question first. I've encountered one very obvious glowy on the internet. and I sat there face palming as somebody got arrested.
Impressive.
It was to do with a gun they owned. Technically, the gun was like illegal because of new law changes, and they kind of got him on a technicality because of that. Even though technically it should have been grandfathered in, I believe. It's funny.
Yay, ATF.
Mentioning militias tends to also attract the ATF, Sharklet. That's
I don't
why.
worry about it.
We're both dogs.
I believe in militias. I can't say anything other than that. I do genuinely believe in militias, and I believe they are very useful and they keep the government in check.
Mika, we're
The
never passing a
ATF
background check ever
are
again.
stopping militias because they're probably like trying to keep the government in power.
Sharklet,
What? Yeah.
I just filed a Form 4. Can you please try to not delay it?
Look, can I just say this? If America had militias, I think the country would be a better place. Because I think the government oversteps
Are
sometimes.
you trying to send us to jail? Like, is this the
No.
goal here?
I'm
I've
never
said
getting
this
that
on stream,
silencer
like,
now.
several times already. I make
I
it very
understand that.
apparent I'm
You
a
are-
vocal militia enjoyer.
Yeah, you're never getting that Form 4 back, Mika.
Yeah,
This
never.
is- this is fucked now. I'm very sorry.
Anyway, the RTS games. So, I kind of always avoided RTS games growing up, but I played some light-hearted ones. I played like an indie one, which is technically RTS, called Multiwinia. I like that one a lot. But I've played like Warno, I've played like Red Dragon. That's pretty much the only RTS I can think of I've played of in the last like 4 years. I've streamed both of them before. They're fun games. I do like my war game Red Dragon, but I also like Warno. Actually, I love Warno. I think Warno's a better game by far. I just haven't played it much because I have limited time. I should really get some friends and go play it again. It's been a while. Nebulous Week am gonna happen at some point? Yes. Once I figure out how the fuck anything works, I need to read the manual.
I know a couple other VTubers I could probably throw you to get information.
On Nebulous?
Yes.
I followed the tutorial, I failed, and he said congratulations. Task failed successfully. What did I do? It's really funky. I like the premise of the game. I gotta get used to the controls. Apparently it controls like free space or something, which I never got to play, so it's kind of pretty alien me going into it. So I gotta get that out of the way first. Once I get that out of the way, I think I could stream it.
And
Yeah.
Mika's chat, keep throwing questions. There is
I
no
see another
bad
question.
I'm going to cap this and say that we need to wrap up in 18 minutes because I need to eat and I need to do stuff with my
fair.
day.
Okay.
That's fair. You
I
got
will
18
answer
minutes
this
to Sharklet.
question. Does a shark prefer naturally aspirated or forced induction? So, I used to be a naturally aspirated purist. Because I thought turbos were stupid. I thought I was a better person because I liked non-turbo cars. Especially like the old McLaren like F1, which was naturally aspirated and went like 240 miles an hour. That car's cool as hell. Now, with time, I've come to love turbos because you can slap a big turbo on anything and it'll go faster. In fact, I think it's really cool once you put the pedal down and like at about like 4,000 RPM, the car just kind of kicks its back out and just dies. I think that's really cool. I like that. I like when it happens. Favorite non-British food? Pizza. Best car brand?
That adds up a lot now.
I love McLaren. But I do love my Mazdas. I love my rotary engines. I think rotary engines are really simple and fun to work on. So I'm going to say Mazda. Okay, there's no more questions. Should we end here? Should we close the floodgates?
Perhaps, yeah. I think we have. I think they've run out of ideas now.
No more questions? What's the weirdest collection I had? I don't actually have any collections. I don't really own things. I've never really owned things. I'm not really a big owner of things. I've kind of always been very frugal and kind of lived on like the minimum for survival. So I don't really own much. So yeah, that is all the questions.
We got one that we do for
The final question.
Oh, they're still going. There's one more from Tholazor.
If I could live anywhere in the world that isn't the US, where would it be? Maybe Norway, maybe Finland, maybe Estonia, maybe Latvia. Maybe Germany. I don't know. Maybe one of those countries.
Jesus, they're okay. Now they're gonna look. We almost end, and then they just throw like 20 more questions
toppings
at
on
it.
pizza, I like pepperoni. But I also like a meat feast pizza, just go like all sorts of meat on top of it. I do love meat quite a bit.
She is a carnivore. She's a shark.
Yep.
Yeah, now to my 9 plushies, how many are still left in bed when I wake up? All of them. If one falls out of bed, I feel guilty and go pick them up. And no book collections. I mean, I guess I technically collected like caterpillars in a bottle sometimes. It kind of grew to be like butterflies. Kind of cool. Childhood was kind of nice like that. I believe I was like the last generation who really went outside. Kids these days are always glued to their phones. Kind of depressing if you think about it.
I went outside and had butterflies from caterpillars too.
Who didn't in our generation?
Yeah, I was gonna say my little brother did. He did too.
Oh, what do you mean I can't read?
She's
think I've read
perfectly capable of reading. Yeah, I think.
Bug, is it a bug? Yeah, bug.
Yeah.
Caterpillar. Not the heavy machinery, like the animal.
All right. I think that brings us to our last question of the day. The
Okay.
last one we ask all of our VTubers. Mika, I think we'll give this one to you.
All right. Sharklet, if you could be remembered for one thing related to the content you currently make, what would it be? Or content you want to make in the future, even.
But being down to earth.
I think that is a good thing to be remembered for.
Yeah, I tried to run things differently. Like, it's been pointed out by a few people, and a lot of people think it's a bad thing, but I believe I'm relatively down to earth. I put basically no barriers between me and my audience, which does put me at risk of bad events happening, but I have judged the risk, and I believe that as long as I keep any of my friends, like any collab partners, like away from that for the duration of collabs and stuff like that, I think it's fine. But I do enjoy being open with my community and my friends and my viewers. I mean, I'm very friendly. I become friends with almost everybody. Like, people watch me and they go to my Discord and we end up being friends. That's just how it works. And that's a good thing, but also a bad thing. Because good thing, lots of friends, solid community, and I get to share my experience with a lot of people. The bad thing is, though, if there was any bad people, that can cause problems, and it's not yet happened. Nothing bad has happened yet, but if it does, I'll have to change that one day, and that's a really sad thought to think about. So I gotta enjoy it while it lasts. So yeah.
All right.
That is that.
Then as we wrap up, Sharklet, do you have any announcements, upcoming events, next stream, etc.?
Well, I'm next streaming on Tuesday. It's going to be the rally game if EA fixed their game. It finished downloading like an hour ago, so I get to test that after this stream, and I get to make an announcement if it's fixed. I'll still be streaming on Tuesday anyway. It's just my week as usual. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe even Sunday this week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's just a pretty normal week this week. Yeah. But it's all. I have nothing else to say.
Joe, before we end, do you have any announcements?
Jover will disappear from Thursday to Sunday.
Aww.
Yeah, so we're not doing
We
another...
talked about it yesterday.
We won't be doing...
Okay, we're going to go to a party on Thursday to Sunday.
I have work on Thursday and Friday.
Aw, that's a shame.
And then, on that segue, Friday, we are going to be launching Spaceman into Space. I have no idea how this is going to go.
I'm excited to see that. I wonder how that'll go for you.
Yeah, I have no clue how it's going to go. I feel it's going to go terrible because I don't know what I'm doing. And we will not be having a show on next Sunday, the 28th, because our precious doggo is out of town. But we'll be resuming on the 4th, I think.
Yeah, whatever the Sunday after that is.
Have you got a guest lined up?
I have not booked a guest for that one yet.
You should find a guest.
Yep.
Guests are
should.
useful. Yeah.
Guests are great. Yeah, they make the show work, and we can just kind of ride off their coattails. And
Well,
yeah,
like having a guest is like the whole point. You get someone different to talk to. You get like a different experience every single week. It's fantastic. I love listening to people talk. It's cool.
it is fun.
Yeah.
You were a very good guest today.
Well, thank thank you. I hope you've had a good day today with me. I hope I've made you guys happy. I hope I made chat happy. Has everybody had fun? Do a wiggle in the chat if you've had fun. Come on, guys. Do a wiggle if you've had fun. Please do a wiggle, guys.
Oh god,
Please
they're
do
not
a
wiggling.
wiggle. I'm waiting on those wiggles.
Oh god, they're not wiggling. Oh,
There you go. There's a bit of
wiggles.
like a delay. Mika's like a 10-second delay, but yeah. Yes,
I
look
have it
about
set as
wiggles. They've
low
had
as
fun.
possible.
This has been a great stream. This has been fantastic.
that was scary for a second there. I'm like, oh god, they really not have fun.
I made Fractures Mold Day several times worse. It's been an honor.
You know, you chose the questions you chose to ask Fractured Mold. I mean,
Fractured, you chose to come here. That's your problem. You signed a waiver.
Yeah,
yeah, you guys decided to watch this. There was a lot of people here today.
yeah, there was a lot of people here today. It's been fantastic. Everyone came to say hi. It's been fun.
I'm gonna be freaking terrified when we go to raid and I see how many people are here.
Oh yeah. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be.
You're gonna be happy.
Speaking of which,
Smile.
where do we go?
Yeah, where should we go today?
Let's see who is on.
Caution.
Ace is on. Ariana Foxton's on. Those are the two I see in my follow list.
Sharklet, do we raid Ace or Ari?
What is Ace playing? Ace is playing War Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ari is playing Final Fantasy. Ask the chat, what do they want to see? Final Fantasy or War Thunder? Chat! Final Fantasy or War Thunder? Let's have a look. Let's find out. They'll tell us.
Ace has earned it. I think that's a very good
Ace
point.
has earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
War Thunder, War Thunder. It's looking like Ace.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go to
Yeah.
see Ace.
Of course you're biased, Adrian. You're an aviation VTuber. I know who you
That's
are.
not being biased. That's being right.
But that's your opinion, though, because, you know, you like that. You want to see that. You like
War Thunder's also War Thunder.
Ah,
That's its own can of worms.
Mika, this is where you say bye to the chat.
I'm coming up with a raid message.
We running out of time.
Ooh. Ooh, what if you use emotes from all three of us? Because we have the head empty for now. There will be more soon. Or we could use those two.
We'll use the standard one since I was dumb and I didn't come up with something better.
It happens. Well, that's something we got to learn how to do better.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. We will be back on the 4th, as we said. Please go check out Sharklet. We gave her a couple shout outs. You should be able to
Ooh.
find her.
Oh, Streamlabs is missing the sub. Oh,
Missing the what?
No, I guess it works.
Huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
see, it's missing some subs because the emotes aren't working, or
Oh,
my
yeah.
thing's just broken.
I can't afford a sub for Streamlabs.
True.
But give Ace a warm welcome. Please stick around. He is a blast to watch.
He's
and
great.
we'll see
He
you all
created
next time.
One of the best sound bites I've ever seen on a soundboard.